don't come for my wife either. She's got nothing to do with anything. Don't use her as a toy to get at me, as a ploy to get at me.
Yeah.
She can't get at me. So you can't use her to get at me. Okay?
Nkululeko on Cultr.
All right, there we go, motherfuckers. Grand opening, grand closing. Y'all niggas need to respect my
God
name.
damn your man, ho. Crack the can open again. Who you gonna find doper than him with no pen? Just draw off inspiration. Who you can't replace him with cheap imitations for these can I get an encore? Do you want more? You can't drop a Jay-Z line and not have me finish it off. I told you I got an MBA in that shit.
Nah,
bro.
I'm thinking of that respect my name shit.
Hmm?
They said grand opening, grand closing. You remember Charlemagne, Birdman?
Yeah.
When he went there and said,
Yeah, put
nigga,
some
this-
respect on my name. Yeah. Put some respect
when
on
they
my
were closing, when he left,
Yeah.
Charlemagne was like, well,
Grand
opening,
opening, grand
closing.
closing. Well, what else could he say? It's not like you could ask him a question. The nigga came in, said what he said, and fucked off.
Yeah, say that shit to, what did he say? Say that shit to Rick Ross. Go confront a rapper. He did say it. Like, he said he must go and confront a rapper.
Why would he confront a rapper? A rapper can't talk shit about him in the media. He can rap and say
Well,
anything.
people got his rationale.
All I'm saying is that Charlemagne never said anything disrespectful about Baby since that incident.
Yeah, but people sided with Charlemagne.
No. Charlemagne's fans. Yeah, obviously because he's a record executive and everyone demonizes record executives. That's the normal thing. Everybody's been saying record labels are evil. They're owned by Satan, the devil. You know what I mean? So it's just like if
you are friends with Leo Cohen and Lance Stir. Like you are in the middle of the Illuminati, bro.
I'm a record executive myself. I'm one of them. I'm one of them.
Yeah, have we started recording? Okay, there you go. This will be the recording. We're not going to edit out this part. Do you want that to happen?
Oh, dude, I don't like editing out any parts.
Okay,
I hate it when I'm edited out.
So that means we have already started. N to the O to the T to the A. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good. Actually, you're reminding me today that I need to say something that was edited out of a DJ Spoo interview that I did.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. No,
what happened?
You know, obviously we're not all the same in our style. So he just didn't want heat from Julius Malema. Because I said, like, yo, the EFF is making all this hullabaloo about Hillary Gardi and everything else as if women aren't being killed, brutalized, and mutilated every day. But when it's close to home, are we hearing me there?
Yeah, we can hear you. Your waves are okay.
Oh, okay, my bad. So, yeah. So, when it's close to home, you know, they want action within 72 hours. They want the police to even use brutality to torture people and all that stuff, you know, to break the Criminal Procedures Act and, you know, commissions of their investigations to find out who's involved. And when 8 girls are gang raped by Zamazamas in Krugersdorp, you know, they've got nothing to say because they basically told Zamazamas to find creative ways to get into South Africa and make a living for themselves and abuse people or whatever, or break the laws, you know. And yeah, so
so that was edited out.
And I was like, okay, maybe it's because the episode that they wanted to drop was too close to like the funeral of Hillary Gardi at the time. But now Godrich Gardi is, you know, alleging that King Mswati sent people to.
Yeah.
Like now you're making, those are serious allegations. I mean, like a whole entire monarch, King Mswati. You are saying King Mswati came to South Africa, sent people to commit murder.
That's what he's saying on record.
Publicly.
Yep.
You know, so, okay, fine. If you're saying this and you believe this, then why doesn't EFF go to Swaziland to protest whatever? You know? Why don't they do that? So, I mean, what happened to that girl that they said, what is it? It's not, who's the girl that was killed by her boyfriend?
Namhla Mtwa.
Yes, they even had a march for that. Justice for Namhla. They still haven't found justice for Namhla. You know? So
It's
everything
the
that they
onus
say
on the EFF to find justice.
it's
for
not
people.
about they are the ones who launched the march, who said we're going to advocate for justice for Namhla, and they failed to do that. Anytime they've claimed to be fighting for women, they failed. They failed in every single attempt to fight for women. Every single attempt. Every single attempt. The only person who's actually been successful, or there's only 2 people who've been successful in fighting for women, it's myself and Ntsiki Mazwai.
In what sense?
I mean, for me, is making sure that at least it's brought into public discourse the abuse of women, and that especially prominent and powerful men are held accountable for any abuse allegations. I caught lawsuits, I had to pay lawyers. I actually bore the brunt of that. Ntsiki Mazwai was sued, she has to pay lawsuits, she has to pay damages to Fresh, she has to, euphonic, and all of those things. All of those matters personally affected her, but we've got legislation that now has been promulgated and signed into law that says, the sex offenders list needs to be published. So now, at least, when you go to the sex offenders list, you'll find the Idols judge, Somizi, sitting right there, squarely.
And
So
when,
that there's
when
no
can we see that?
ambiguity.
Is that
It's
list
right now?
available?
Yeah, it's up right now. I think it got up on the 1st of July.
That's interesting.
So yeah, so at least we've got.
I suppose we can you take screenshots of that and circulate it public?
It's in the public. You can go to Postnet and then ask them to search, and they can give you a printout.
So it's not something that you can do it online.
You can do it online. It's a sex offenders list.
Okay.
Yes, it's published online. So you can go out there, take screenshots of Somizi, print it out, and then when you go to Idols, ask him to autograph it.
That's interesting. That's interesting. You were in court. You were wearing suits. I've never seen you wear a suit. What's happening?
No, my wife got me this fit. And also this, but I got myself this Hermes scarf at the Hermes store opposite the New York Stock Exchange.
Everything must be special with you. I knew that the scarf was not just going to be a scarf that you get for R5, put it around your neck to serve a purpose of protecting you from the weather. It must be from New York and some stupid shit like that.
Yeah, it's a 5,000 rand scarf. It's
Yeah,
not
but when I
a
get
5 rand scarf.
Yeah, she was like, yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah,
I knew like it was not.
it's
gonna be just a
sentimental.
normal-
Yeah, I was there at the New York Stock Exchange thinking about one day having my own company traded there. So I got myself a gift to mark that that memory. So yeah, I wore this today in court. I got socks from the M&M store in Times Square in New York as well. I was defending myself.
He was
against
selling
Shimza.
out though. Before we get to the same Shimza,
The
and
shoes
what
are
that,
free.
Yeah, you're selling out. Like seriously, you wearing a fucking suit. You and I always wear flip flops almost all the
Dude, I
time.
was in court, dog. It's a serious thing.
That's why
Yeah.
I need the audience to understand that.
I was
'cause-
under oath. I can't now rock up in just anyhow. And
but Mina could go there wearing like this. If
the judge is gonna judge you.
then they must judge me.
The thing is that it's not social media that's judging you. It's a judge. It's like when a judge judges you,
It's consequential. It's consequential.
You understand what I'm saying? There's consequences to your dress code.
Yeah.
Are you taking this seriously enough? Or are you thinking that you can waste
I
the
will
court's
still
time?
be serious there when I'm there.
You can be serious, but I mean, they come in robes.
Hmm.
They wear their gowns and everything. My advocate had to put on his gowns, rush.
It's like a sadistic ritual.
Yeah.
Perverse sadistic ritual. Why should we wear gowns?
It's
To
Roman
Cultr,
Dutch law.
Nota.
It's exactly. It's we stole it from the British.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shimza, what's that about? Why are you in court?
But how? We're in court for the defamation case.
Mm.
Yeah, he
And
threatened to sue me
you're the
last year
defendant.
on the 28th of June, and finally the matter is being heard. On the first it was supposed to start on the 1st of August, but Shimza was in Portugal, or on his way back from Portugal, where he was performing for a crowd of, he says, 12,000 people. There's no way of verifying that, but it seems like it was a big crowd. And so we started on the 2nd of August, a day late, even though he brought the matter, and I think maybe it's because he was offered free legal advice by Katlego Malachi's law firm, Mulai Attorneys. And all they said is, we'll just get you an advocate to argue for you in court and you'll pay for that. So, unfortunately, he'll also have to pay his advocate for that first day that they were available that he wasn't, which shows how seriously he's taking this matter. But I was defending myself because he said that I intended to defame him, slander him. And I was just saying, what I said or posted was fair comment. And as a public figure, you will be held publicly accountable for anything that you do, especially if you're a politically exposed person like he is. His girlfriend was there in court. The president's digital thing. I think it was like quite fortunate that the president gave her a couple days off or a week off to be by her boyfriend's side and be there in court.
President Cyril Ramaphosa's employee.
Yes, she's the head of digital communication. She tweets for the president. Yes, she handles the president's Twitter account.
Yeah, my daughter.
Yeah.
So,
and the whole entire controversy that he's suing me for emanated from her tweet, because she tweeted a poster on the 16th of May, and then people like saying, hey, how come this venue, how did Shimza win this tender, when was it advertised and everything else?
Yeah.
And the poster that she posted was on the 16th of May. The event was on the 17th. She posted it, I think, after 5 p.m. on the 16th of May. The event was taking place at 10 a.m. On the 17th, it was live streamed. And the minister herself said that, the criteria for them choosing a venue, they wanted a place with a vibe. So, they decided not to put it out to tender or advertise a tender or get competitive bids, because obviously Shimza is the number one vibe provider, And I've said myself that, he's probably South Africa's best DJ. I don't know if that's how he earned Lockdown House Party, or whether, Lockdown House Party wanted to make sure that the president's head of digital is going to report to the president, whose company is one of the main shareholders in Naspers, who owns DSTV. So basically, Tumamina Media gave Shimza a couple TV shows. DSTV, sorry. Did I say Tumamina Media?
You laugh at your own jokes. Why the fuck do you laugh at your own jokes?
No! It's like I'm laughing at myself, because I'm like, no, man, I didn't mean to say Tumamina Media instead of DSTV. But, it's one and the same thing, so it's synonymous. So,
yeah. But
she
in
attempted.
good spirits?
I'm in very good spirits. I'm in, my legal team, earned their really exorbitant fees. I won't lie. You need to have lawyers that are smarter than you.
Yeah.
Like, this was one of the few times in the room where I was sitting in a room with people who are smarter than me. Obviously, the judge is smarter than me. Never think you're smarter than a judge. He presides over cases, he decides.
Yeah.
And he's seen a lot more than you've ever been exposed to. So you never.
You don't need an advocate, therefore. I have his number.
No, Advocate Defo. Advocate Defo is actually smarter than the judge he's sitting in front of. But never assume that you're smarter than a judge. Yeah. But Advocate Defo has proven that he's smarter than that judge. He's outsmarted that judge. So by the time that case resumes on the 5th of September, and he's back there in the dock, the judge would have been exposed fully, as a compromised judge. So I had my legal team, and my legal team, they really fought a really good fight. I was really impressed. I was like, oh, these guys are actually, worth every penny that was spent on it, Obviously, my wife is upset that instead of paying for her music videos or something, I decided to spend money on lawyers. But, it's my money.
You don't have to throw her under the bus like that. Nah, that's not funny, nigga.
The funniest thing is that I was watching Elon Musk's dad, because he's got a channel, Dad of a Genius. Have you seen it?
No.
Yeah,
you were telling me about someone was interviewing him.
Yeah, they were interviewing him. So, check that out on YouTube, Dad of a Genius.
Elon Musk. I'll check it out tonight. I'll look at it tonight.
Yeah, because, a lot of people don't understand that Elon Musk was part of the Progressive Front, which is the anti-apartheid white party, which is the party that, opposed the National Party in Parliament a lot. So,
but they never won, of course. It's always been the National Party that wins.
And why would you think that Elon Musk's dad would have had political favors in an apartheid government while he's opposing them in Parliament? So that's why his kids had to leave the country, because he made a mess for his family. He made it impossible for his family to remain in South Africa, because he was fighting the government of South Africa. And that's why Elon Musk had to go to the States, where his dad wasn't fighting racism, and to be safe, because his dad was fighting racism against people who kill people, and his kids could have been killed. And him being separated from his family obviously would bring about criticism for him and his actions. So probably his wife, destroyed his name to his kids. Oh, your dad is so irresponsible and everything else. But he was fighting for the freedoms that we get to enjoy today. He was fighting to end apartheid. And so, you're saying I'm throwing my wife under the bus in that regard. And Errol Musk would say, no, never throw your wife under the bus. Never, don't get back at her. Don't sue her.
Yeah.
Because he was speaking about the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp case, because obviously Elon Musk had dated Amber Heard. So he spoke about her and he said nice things about her. He actually said that he wanted Elon to stay with her. He thought that she was a good girlfriend. And I was like, okay. you had a baby with your former stepdaughter.
Shouldn't advice from him. No dating advice, because Amber Heard has red flags all over.
Dude. Amber Heard, actually, that whole entire court case just reminded me so much of my wife. Like, I was like, oh my God. Like, Johnny Depp, I get what you're going through, except, I don't have a cocaine habit. And, my wife never took a dump in the bed.
Okay. Let's close that part. The court case has a Somizi angle to it?
Well, it's about Somizi.
Why?
Because he was
I was trying to understand that.
The court case is about my tweets after it was posted by Mameloko Kubai, Ngubeni, or Ngubane. Mameloko Kubai Ngubane, because it's a
she was an international relations minister at some point.
She was a tourism minister.
At that time.
Yes, now she's, I don't know, in some business department is within the presidency or something. She's really close to the president.
Sorry, I'm mistaking it with my Ngwana Mashabane. There's double barrel.
Yeah. Ngwana Mashabane. Yeah. So it was the cook-off with Somizi.
Okay.
The ministerial cook-off with Somizi. So that's why he's involved in the case, and that's why the whole entire thing. But he's not the one that is Somizi is not the one who's suing me. You know what I mean? And if you think about it,
the cook-off would have been hosted at Shimza's place.
Yes, and it was the cook-off with ministerial cook-off with Somizi. So even the event name has got Somizi's name inside it. So that's why he's involved.
Yeah. So you were questioning as to, of course, the girlfriend is in the presidency, working directly for the president, tweeting for the president, and him getting...
It wasn't me. It was people on the 16th of...
But of course, it involves you at some point as well. Cause
once it started trending the next day, I also started commenting.
You talked about it as well.
Once it was a trending topic. It was a trending topic, bro.
Yeah.
Everybody's talking about it. Tens of thousands.
I remember seeing it, even though I don't follow those.
Yeah.
News.
And then, the worst thing is that, I was asked whether I regret tweeting about it. And to be honest... I wouldn't be wearing a suit today if I didn't tweet about it. And it's not like my tweets were the reason why Checkpoint did an investigation. It's not the reason why, whether I tweeted or not, the questions would have still been there. He would have still been a trending topic. He can't claim that I was the one who brought the allegations.
Yeah.
You understand? So I don't know why he's targeting me, but... I guess it's good that I do this case, and so that people can be emboldened to exercise their rights to freedom of speech, and give fair comment, and advocate for public accountability, and it is what it is. If you're asking whether he's learned anything about the PFMA, I think he would have studied it.
What is the PFMA?
The Public Finance Management Act, which was what was not followed when they had a meeting with his manager, Lieutenant, at Hangout, who was the one who agreed to his venue being used without his knowledge or involvement, even though he owns the venue. So anyway, his employee is the one who is responsible for all of that. So if there was any corruption, it was done by his employee, even though his bank account is the one that benefited.
Yeah. Is there no technicality about you talking about this here whilst the court is ongoing?
Sub judice is about whether you're on the stand when you're currently testifying. You cannot talk about the case when you're on the stand and testifying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, obviously, when you're testifying at 4:00, everything is closed. you can't take interviews from TV channels or stuff.
We had to wait.
Yeah.
I was I told you the whole time. Yeah, we're going to talk. I was like, yo, we're supposed to talk on Tuesday. I was like, I'm on the stand now. I'm testifying, so I can't.
But it's not about binding throughout the court case, because I asked even Advocate Tefo, I was like, yo, this thing is still ongoing. Do you want to really talk about it?
Yeah, it's sub judice. It's only when you're on the stand. That's all it's about.
How long did it take for you to be on the stand?
I was on the stand for 2 days.
How was it?
It was daunting.
Yeah, because you have a natural instinct to talk shit, and there your inclination will be curbed. Like me, I use vulgar
not even
language.
not even about vulgar language.
Yeah.
It's not about even inclination to talk
and
shit.
Sometimes you
don't want to talk too much because you are giving evidence.
Yes.
Everything you say is evidence. So it can be and will be used against you. You understand what I'm saying? And that's a judge. So the consequences of his judgment of your statements are, dude, these guys are trying to sue me for R500,000. They're trying to cost me R500,000. I've already been cost R250,000 in lawyer fees. I already told you that. You know what I mean? So they want me to double what I've already spent. They want me to spend R750,000. But, if they lose this case, it gets dismissed with costs, and then they have to pay all my lawyer fees.
Yeah, you are in and out of courts.
I've only been to court. This is my first time ever in my life in court.
Okay, so the slicker thing didn't go to court?
It hasn't gone to court yet. It's still going to go to court to have the settlement agreement declared a court order.
All right. I heard, I think we've satisfied everything about the court case. I don't want to ask anything further. I want the public to know that there is a current ongoing court case between you and Shimza. And
the verdict will only be given in a couple of months' time. So we've wrapped it up. We've done our closing arguments on both sides. There weren't any additional witnesses that were called. It was only me and Shimza who testified.
So what does the judge have to do really in that case? On that case, is that
the
you
judge
consequenced him with your statements negatively?
The judge has to decide that I consequenced him negatively, that I intended to defame him, that I intended to bring his name into disrepute.
So
and
if
it wasn't
you tweeted
just
about
fair
it
comment.
the day after, when everyone else was talking about it, how can he infer that?
Well, that's his claim. That's why he's suing.
He has to prove that.
Yeah, he has to prove that. That's
because if you are saying that it happened the day after it trended, you only tweeted once everyone else was talking about it.
That's true. And also, I never actually blatantly said that he's corrupt.
You were just questioning what you told Elanjandland.
Yeah, that's it. We were asking questions. And all he needed to do is say, yo, here was the tender. This is where it was advertised. This was the whatever. Or here's the emergency, whatever. This is how it was approved. Cool. Done. It's, and that's an email from the government with a letterhead or a letter that could explain it.
Yeah.
Exculpatory explanations were not given, and that's why questions are still being raised. Checkpoint also raised questions.
Yeah, I mean, if you mention Checkpoint, it means questions had to be raised because those are investigative
and
journalists.
It's also being investigated as well now.
Okay.
The Public Service Commission has sent in questions.
So what the fuck is
the point of that case? He's under investigation as we speak.
What the fuck is the point of that case?
So imagine now being under investigation, and then while being under investigation, they find out that you lost a defamation case where you were trying to say that people who brought allegations against you were false. That just makes you're wrapping up the investigation for them, because all they need to do is now take those court records and say, okay, well, this guy has failed to prove that the right procedures were followed, and then SIU comes in. But SIU won't come in because they wouldn't come for Ramaphosa's social media manager's boyfriend, would they? Mina, would they?
Yes, it happened a lot.
I'm just saying. So if you think about it, right?
Makes sense.
It's in the public interest for us to discuss this because only the media can actually hold him accountable.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's why I had to defend this case. That's why I had to spend R250,000 of my own money, and this is about accountability because clearly our government, our law enforcement agencies have left us to our own devices. We need to be the ones that fight corruption, and Ramaphosa did say we need to put our hands up. He did say, put your hands up and say, Tumamina. So utumemina manje.
Okay, there you go.
Ngiyathumeka.
There you go, nigga. Someone was saying that you will kill yourself.
Who
they
said
are
that?
observing behaviors that indicate that
Oh,
sooner or
Rashid.
later you
Yes,
will
he
kill
said,
yourself.
Rashid. Yeah, Rashid.
So Rashid K is speaking to Gigi Lameni. Shout out to Gigi. She has her own podcast.
Yeah, she's got her own podcast.
Closing in on 1,000 subscribers. Shout out to her.
Yeah.
She's obviously going to have to work on journalistic style. How do you ask questions? But I think she's on the right track with that.
She's got a nice voice.
Yeah,
nice speaking voice, and that comes from rapping.
Yes,
and she's got the rapping skill, the wordplay.
Yes.
She's good with words. Yeah,
vocabulary.
Yeah.
So it will. If
Zimbabwean girls are very smart.
I've never.
The education
that has
system,
never been in doubt. For me,
Yeah.
every interaction that has never been in doubt with every Zimbabwean woman.
Yeah.
That's never been unclear. You can see it.
Yeah, exactly.
They hold their own in conversations.
Yeah.
But anyways, like I want to get to the point where I was watching that. You said stuff about Rashid on everything SA Music.
Yeah.
About a stature in the music industry.
Yeah.
And he responded. Now in his response, he said he made inferences about your mental health. I wish I could play that clip in full.
No, let's not go there, because that's the problem, is that, bro, we've allowed people to make inferences about people's mental health too much, bro.
Yeah.
You're not psychologists. Like, don't say anything about anyone's mental health, because you don't know when you might have a poster for an event and then I might show up, Rashid, and you're not as big as Stogie T. You understand? Because Stogie T, what he was lucky about was that I knew that if I strike him first, I've attacked him, right? And I don't know what he might do if I strike back. But if he strikes me or tries to strike me, I'm able to be quick and defend myself and prevent him from striking me. So I knew that one, okay, cool. But with Rashid, dude, some kabanye. Exactly, and you'll need diapers for the rest of his life. No. I'm serious. Dude, what I'm saying is this: he can insult me, dog. But
it's fair game. You guys.
No, you can insult me. No, insults. It's not fair game, dog.
No, I'm not mentioning on the mental health part. I'm just saying
that's not fair game, because you're not a psychologist.
Yes.
Leave that apart. Don't come for my wife either. She's got nothing to do with anything. Don't use her as a toy to get at me, as a ploy to get at me. She can't get at me, so you can't use her to get at me. Okay, that's one thing.
So why did you make statements against him?
I didn't make statements against him.
Why did you talk about it?
No, because I was just speaking in general. It's like there were certain podcasts that I was saying I would go to every podcast, but not every podcast I'd go to. I wouldn't go to Rashid's podcast. There's no need. There's no value in that. They call it the masterclass, but there's nothing that he can teach because he has not achieved anything.
But Gigi on the podcast defended Rashid and said
she will, because he's his guest. Why would you now offend your guest?
But
you invited
they have a relationship, and
their relationship. But
she verified that Rashid helped her in her relationship.
Yes, he helped her in a certain way, but he didn't get her career to the next level. He didn't get her to anywhere where Kulichana didn't get her to when she joined Dream Team. You understand? He didn't do. So I said, like, certain people who are like taxi drivers in your career. They drop you off at a certain destination, and then from there on, you go on. But that's just a taxi driver. You know what I mean? It gets you from A to B. You don't own that taxi. That taxi doesn't own you. It's, it's transit. That's all it is. And that's what I was saying, is that's Rashid's role. So he mustn't now, because he was a taxi driver, now act like, he owned the bus company. He didn't. He can't act like, he's the owner of the Cultr. He didn't do all of those things. Yes, he's part of this whole entire transport machinery.
Yeah.
But, his achievement in that doesn't give him the authority to speak on it. He can't speak authoritatively. He can't say, I'm giving people a masterclass. How? Because you haven't mastered anything. There's nothing that you've mastered.
It could just be the name of the podcast, though.
Either so. What are you trying to suggest to your audience? That this is a masterclass, right? And that's what he tries to present it as. He says he's giving people advice. How can Rashid give people advice? He doesn't have a number one record to his name. He doesn't have an award to his name. He doesn't have anything to his name. Nothing. There isn't someone I can walk into the room with in South Africa, musically, who's more accomplished than me. You understand what I'm saying? So that's why I speak the way I do. And people think that because I speak the way I do, what entitles me to... My success entitles me to speak the way I do, bro. Like, I've done things that none of y'all have ever done. Even if you put together what you've done, it doesn't amount to what I've been able to do in my 32 years. So that's why I speak authoritatively. It's not coming from a place of arrogance. It's coming from a place of, like, actually, I've done the yards. I know what I'm talking about, and I can actually help you. And hearing from me, or it coming from me, is coming from a special place. Dude, I don't need to give people my time. People are like, oh no, make another. I don't need to make a dude. I'm busy on my own brand. I told people I'm working on my own personal brand. And a guy like Rashid, he needs to work on his own personal brand and actually bring some success to it so that we can listen to him. But he hasn't been able to do that. So, I take no offense to what he's saying. Because
I was about to ask that did it affect you in any way?
No, he needed to say that. He needs to come for me to prove how famous I am and how commenting on me can actually get him more views. I like that. Trust me, anytime someone says something negative about me or whatever, they're just proving that they need me. For clout. They need me for relevance. They need me. People used to say, this nigga, he's using Casper Nyovest for clout, for relevance. No one talks about him when he doesn't mention Casper Nyovest. Now no one talks about Casper Nyovest when he doesn't mention me.
Isn't that a reach you're reaching, nigga?
What was
What's
the What's look at Casper Nyovest's last 10 tweets. Which one has got the most retweets?
I don't know. I'm not on Twitter.
It's the one where he's talking about me, where he's saying, "Oh no, I knew I was gonna be a boxing legend at the age of." Nigga, you lost you lost your first and only fight, and became a meme after beating up some fat guy who sits next to a wardrobe. And talks shit on the internet. You beat up an internet troll. You gave him 6 days to get ready for a beat down, and then you got into the ring with an R&B singer and got your ass kicked. You're getting bodied by a singing nigga. Knocked out.
Let me just say this. One thing that I noticed that I have a problem with all of these people that are in the industry, and it's worrying. Industry people should care about their industries. When Slick Talk was about to fight with Casper, the country didn't notice this, but I noticed this because I care about my industry. One of the Modisela sisters said, "Why is Slick Talk being given a platform?" And I found that problematic. In Rashid K response to Nota, he said, "Why is this nigga being given a platform?" And I found that my ears listened.
Why is a platform being given a platform? I am a platform.
Just let me finish this. I just need to make this statement. I don't want people who are actors or singers or radio presenters to be talking about people being censored. You open that can of worms, it's going to affect you one way or the other one day. We should never exist in a country where people are being deplatformed or cancelled. I don't agree with that. I think that that's archaic and it's dictatorial. And I think the one group of people who should know that first are practitioners in the entertainment industry. You should not be asking why people are being given platforms. I have a problem with that. No one picked it up when one of the Modisela sisters said it in the fight between Casper and Slick Talk. Pre-interviews, they mentioned that. Why is Slick Talk being given a platform? That's archaic. Everyone must have a platform, and we must fight for people to have the right to say what they want.
For freedom of speech. Yeah. And if you don't like what they're saying, say
don't
what...
watch it.
You understand?
Don't
say what
it.
you want to say then.
Yeah, and don't watch them.
You understand?
There's no obligation.
Make yourself a platform.
Yeah.
You understand? Instead of policing other people's platforms.
Yeah,
why is so-and-so being given a platform?
Yeah, you shouldn't police people's platforms. I have a problem with that.
Yeah, so
you can decide not to watch.
So what about media practitioners? The SAFTA's judges board, that's media practitioners.
Yeah.
All of them are inside. Do they owe Cultr Mabo an apology?
Yeah, that's an interesting one. Even outsurance, besides media practitioners, even outsurance.
No, but let's say the SAFTA's in particular, because outsurance were brought into disrepute. I'll be honest. I've been honest about this. I said, Cultr Mabo brought this upon himself. You understand? He brought this upon himself. Just in the same way, I brought the controversy around me and my marriage around myself by choosing my wife. Just by choosing her, right, meant that I took that risk that one day she could come out there and tweet stuff about me. I took that risk,
Yeah, but you can't know that in advance. And secondly,
you can. You judge a person's character before you have a relation.
Bruh, when we're building a courtship, not everything can come out.
That's true.
Know everyone.
That's why you take time to learn someone, right? But also, when you're talking about the courtship, this is the person that you lie next to in bed. This is the closest person. You are very vulnerable. Every single time I went to sleep and closed my eyes, I needed to be sure that my wife is not going to wake up in the middle of the night and grab a knife and kill me.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? And when I decided that, I couldn't be sure of that anymore, I was like, I can't sleep at home. I can't sleep in my own home. I have to sleep outside the house until she's gone. And when she's left, that's when I can come back and return to my home and then, lead a normal life. But then when you do something like that, right, as a man, you can't go out there into the world and now bash her and say, hey, I kicked this woman out and I had to do all of these stuff. You have to take it like a man. You understand? And move on with your life. And then you also have to anticipate that some months down the line, she can now decide, because there's some viral clip about you talking about Mihlali. And I'm not going to say anything bad about her anymore. I've been paid to shut up. I'll explain that later. I took the money. I took the money, but it was for a good cause.
Donated it to charity.
Yeah, to take a girl to a dance school in California. But you know, I took that risk, knowing that this person is someone who's going to be scared.
Take it back to Cultr.
I'm going to take it back to Cultr. Now, for me, the thing is that there was no evidence of me doing anything abusive. There was no evidence of me cheating or anything like that. With Cultr, it was infidelity. And you're selling yourself as this Mr. Perfect, family man, and everything else. Infidelity, is bad. And you're putting a woman at risk of contracting an STD. You didn't use protection. And you also did this thing with a competition winner on a trip, a Lay's trip. Is it like now, let's say you get a sponsor from Superman. Superman decides to sponsor this thing. And you say you have a winner of a competition and they take you somewhere to go to where the Superman movie was shot somewhere. And then you sleep with the person who wins the competition. You put Superman at risk, because if this woman now also comes out again and makes allegations, the whole entire brand will be brought into disrepute and everything else. So he risked a whole lot. He should have known better. He shouldn't have done that on that trip. Yes, maybe he might have met that girl there, but arrange a hookup outside of the work. You did it on the job. You know what I mean? You didn't respect the job.
So what did he win in court then? What did he prove in court? What was that about?
No, I don't think there was anything in court, but there was some abuse allegations or some charges.
Okay, so
but those were dropped.
What he proved was that he did not abuse.
Yeah, he did not abuse her.
But it did not refute the allegation of.
She shot an entire video. She made him apologize.
Yeah,
in that video.
That was uncomfortable.
And you could see from that video.
I didn't watch all of it.
But you could see from that video that she's like that. She's one of those women that want to dominate a man, that want to bring a man down, and that's the danger when we engage with black women. You know what I mean? I made that choice. When I decided to marry a black woman, I knew that, listen, this woman has been trained to take me down as a black man. She's been raised on that. The media tells her that at some point in time, she needs to bring down a black man to protect herself. Even though that's false, because she's making herself more vulnerable by removing her black man who's her protector. But that is exactly what it is. And, Cultr, baby mama as well, she decided, okay, fine, this man has hurt me. Now it's time to sink to my training instead of rising to the occasion. It's sad.
Let's explore this after. What point were you trying to make there about the awards show? If then what you just described.
Well, I was adding on to the point that you said that people within the media should understand. We should have more sensitivity around such things.
Yeah, deplatforming and closing people's platforms.
Yeah, so they removed him from being eligible for the Presenter of the Year award, even though, he's the best television presenter. If anything, this proves this, because he had to be brought back. They couldn't find a replacement.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was emotional to see him cry as well on a video clip. I don't know.
But just imagine now the things that we need to glorify,
demasculated,
and now we have to come out in the public, and you have to be crying, and now you have to be sad, and now you have to be miserable because a black woman is angry about something that you did. Now you must be miserable, as if, dog, you're not the fucking table. We don't know who his girlfriend was or whatever, but she's not someone who's a public figure who's prominent. The controversy is what brought her into the public light.
Yeah.
She's now completely disappeared, and she's humiliated, emasculated this man, and his kids now need to witness this. Yeah. And this is what I always say is, like, guys, the kids will need to witness this, because these things are happening online, these things are happening on television. Anything that happens on television ends up online. Anything that happens online lives forever. Anything that lives forever will haunt you.
Yeah,
It'll always be brought up.
It will affect your kids. I've been grappling with this as internalize it, like, why is it that the consequence to infidelity is not really divorce, or because traditionally it's divorce or leave
and quiet. Yeah, that's quietly leave quietly.
I've been contemplating that. Why is it? What's difficult about that? That the way you consequence him is that you are leaving him, because that's the ultimate thing.
And the thing is that we don't have women are not willing to sign NDAs. You understand? Like for me, like even in my own relationship, I wanted my wife to sign an agreement. I was saying, okay, fine, clean. If we're going to have a separation or whatever, it needs to have an agreement and I was going to include the non-disclosure clauses and everything else to make sure that it, but now I won't have that opportunity. Now, every time I need to defend my honor, defend my character, defend my mental health.
Yeah.
Like, just imagine the torment.
Every business meeting, you are met with the eyes, even though there's no obligation for you to explain yourself in that scenario.
Dude, now I need to bring out a public HIV test, a public mental health test.
Yeah.
You understand? And I'm like, really? I even told her this the last time I had a conversation with her, like a couple days ago. I'd be like, why would you put me through that? Like, like, why would you do that to me? Like, if you want to leave, go to lawyers, put together some money, send me divorce papers, let me sign them. You understand? So you can go. But now, because you don't have money to pay for lawyers to do whatever you need to do, if you actually want to leave, if you're not playing a game, if you're not trying to just destroy me, destroy my name, if you're not trying to destroy like my confidence, trying to make me go out there and people say, your wife left you, you're a loser. No, I let her go because she's impossible to live with. She won't understand that I'm the man in the house. And every man needs to understand that you need to be the man in your house. Your wife can't now go and put you and record you without your permission. And now you need to look like a wimping, simping Will Smith and say, my face is my bread and butter. And I will not have you put me on social media without my permission or whatever like that. You know what I mean? Now you need to be emasculated. You need to now walk up to the Oscar stages and slap Chris Rock to take back your masculinity because you're being dominated within your relationship. I mean, I was like, I never married Dineo Ranaka, dog. I didn't get married to be dominated. You understand? If you don't want to listen to that, go to your grandmother's house. You understand? Because that's where Dineo Ranaka is the dominatrix. She dominates every man. She dominates every man. And at least finally, finally, the rest of the chillers agree with me. Because I said it last time we sat down. I was like, why does Dineo Ranaka need to keep dominating every man? Why does she need to dominate Saul? And that's why she was trending this whole entire week. It's just so sad that all we've been witnessing is women behaving badly.
Yeah, but where does this come from, though? Like, why should we first have to be talented?
As black men?
That's what I'm saying. Why should we be first talented, provide shelter,
everything,
provide safety,
security,
everything, safety and security, and then on top of that, we have to be inferior in that dynamic.
That's the thing. As a man, you need to suffer. Will Smith, you're the biggest movie star.
Yeah.
You charge $35 million for a movie, and you have to suffer. You understand? Jada needs to dominate you. You need to serve her. You understand? You need to go out there and apologize to the public and humiliate yourself after humiliating yourself. And you're the one who wins an Oscar. Is Jada ever going to be nominated for an Academy Award for Best Actress? I'm just saying, is she ever?
I'm trying to remember.
Never mind her getting a role where she could be eligible.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, is she ever going to be nominated ever?
Well.
So who loses when Will Smith is banned from the Academy for 10 years?
Him.
No, the family loses. Their family loses.
Yeah,
because she's the mother of his children.
At the immediate level, he loses, obviously.
Yes, and he's the head of that. He's the head of the family. So why would you want to now decapitate the head of your own family? Of your own family. You should be loyal to the T.
Doesn't make sense.
You understand? It's humiliating. It's disgusting. And it's like, black women, you don't understand how you guys humiliate yourselves. Because I need to think to myself, I'm sitting in court, Shimza's there with his girlfriend. He didn't even have to lobola her. The one I sent cows to is now opposed to me spending money on lawyers, even though I didn't complain when they told me how many cows I need to send. I sent all of them. You understand? There was no complaints. There was no issues. But now that I decide, no, I'm going to go to court to fight so that my children can grow up in a country which is not, hamstrung by corruption. So at least they can have fair opportunities where they don't need to now suck some political dick to, get somewhere in life. That's what I'm fighting for, to protect my wife so that now she doesn't have to be compromised or suck some political dick to get something in life herself as well, because that is what's happening in our industry. We're seeing it. If you want to date a woman that's famous, you either need to be a pimp, or you need to be a simp, or you need to be a cuck, and watch you get fucked. Either by the industry, by the system, by other people, And that's what we're signing up for, because there's nothing you can do, you can't provide, because we're trying to make sure that black men have got no economic power.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like, the only thing I can do to fight back on behalf of my brothers who've been silenced, who've had their tongues chopped off, is to encourage my young brothers to, get yourself some capital. Capital can be gained from white people. They own white monopoly capital, marry their daughters. That's the first way to access capital. And what do those white women gain? They gain BEE credentials, It's not like Musi Maimani is struggling to provide for his white wife. No, he's got BEE credentials, he's got a white wife, so he's out there with access to capital, and he's as black as they come, and his kids are black too. There's no such thing as mixed race or colored.
Penwell would disagree with you on that.
Yeah, well, I disagree with Penwell. Penwell thinks people should be slaughtered and killed. He believes in that. He's a madman, And hopefully DJ Sbu's going to be able to tame him before he starts his own cult and decides to go Charles Manson and have people commit suicide en masse, because that's the direction Penwell is going with this whole cult thing of his that he thinks is a religion.
Penwell thinks that in a union between black and white, 50% emerges, 50-50 emerges.
Yeah.
And you saying that in a union between black and white, a black kid emerges.
Hey, Trevor Noah's black.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know that.
That's the example I was trying to make to him.
Yeah. Shoma Josie is black.
Yeah.
We know that.
Maya Vekharov. Is she Maya Vekharov?
Yeah.
Is it Vekharov
but
or
she's
Owen?
named after Maya Angelou.
Nice one. And she's a poet.
She's black.
She's
Maya the poet. Yeah, she is.
She is fucking dope, even as a poet as well.
She is.
Did she grow up in America at some point? Or?
She studied.
Oh,
African
okay.
studied. She studied African studies in Massachusetts at, I think it's
Not
either at
MIT?
University of Massachusetts, but in Boston. It's in the same.
In the vicinity.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. We're friends, so we talk on the phone, and we try to persuade each other. We counsel each other, and that's very helpful to me and to you.
We don't cancel each other.
Counsel, Counsel, counsel.
Not cancel.
Not Cancel. Cancel. Yeah, but we counsel each other. Counsel each other. I don't know how to pronounce it, but counsel.
No, you're
each
pronouncing
other.
it right.
Okay.
I'm ad-libbing. I'm being Black Steph.
Yeah. Cancel. We don't cancel each other. We counsel each other.
You know how Black Steph is on that Real Black Steph podcast. A lot of people miss it, but he'll just.
Yeah. I get it now. We don't cancel each other. We counsel each other. We speak for hours on the phone. Yeah. And I've been trying to persuade you against your messaging of white women.
You try to make me delete my tweets.
No. Not. You can continue tweeting. No one will ever control that space for you. But I'm just saying, I'm giving you a different direction to say, look, the way that it looks in the public is that, number one, we've struggled against whiteness. We are the victims of white supremacy and colonialism. As we antagonize ourselves with black men and black women in this antagonistic dynamic, which I don't like as well, and we've been speaking about, our solution should not be the white woman. And I've been trying to persuade you, but I'm not finding words to persuade you to that point. Or to don't say the solution is the black woman.
That's
the
because
white woman.
You're misquoting me, because I'm not saying that the solution is a white woman. I'm saying the white woman is a tool. The white woman is a tool to rescue our black women. Our black women are being encouraged and are being enabled to behave badly. And the only way to discourage them from behaving badly is to introduce some competition. They need to now compete for black men, because black men are the gatekeepers of economic success. Why are black women so encouraged to destroy successful black men? Because they use them as a stepping stone to get to economic success. You can use a black man as a stepping stone to gain economic success.
Oh, yeah. And one institution that does that well is marriage. And,
you understand?
And divorce.
Divorce is how you destroy wealth.
Yeah.
You understand? That was the one thing.
To be the richest
that was the
woman
one thing that my wife taught me. She's like, the biggest wealth destroyer is divorce. And now she wants to use it like a toy.
To be the biggest to be the richest woman in the world, you don't have to make breakthroughs in any industry. You just have to divorce. Was this bald-headed
Elon
nigga
Musk or Bill Gates.
that bald-headed nigga from Amazon.
Or Jeff Bezos.
Yeah, and then you become automatically the
Richest woman in the world.
woman in the world.
You
And
understand?
you've made no inroads in any industry.
You've never invented anything,
developed-
sold the product, and then you can
Tina,
go
we
out
have to
there.
be so obsessed with creating. We create like we so.
Mackenzie Bezos is now remarried and everything else. She got her shares, she got everything else, and there was no alimony because a lot of women, like, they'll get divorced and they won't even remarry because as long as they're not remarried, you have to pay them some sort of alimony.
Yeah.
Like Dr. Dre's ex-wife,
Yeah,
she's probably going to be looking for some alimony.
yeah. That means she will never remarry.
I mean, why would she?
Yeah, because if you get $100,000 for example, every month, that's
To
it.
stay single,
That's it, like for the rest of your life.
you know? Exactly. You just let niggas run trains and never marry you.
Yeah, but back to the white woman though. Like, what's your point
It's a
about
tool.
them?
It's a tool.
And so I come from the township, right? I'm a township kid.
Who put you there?
How would
Who put you in the township?
it's the system that designed the
No,
township?
who designed the system?
It's the apartheid government.
Who was
That
in the
designed.
apartheid government?
Sorry,
Who was in the apartheid government?
white people,
White.
men.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a minority of white men,
Yeah.
not the majority of white men.
Well, the majority of white people participated.
Do you think it's possible to convince the majority of white women to be with black men?
That's where I'm trying to get it with
No,
my
no.
question.
I'm asking you a question. Do you think it's possible to convince a majority of white women to be with black men?
My hypothesis about the South African white people, white populace, in general, is that they've been conscientized to understand that they are 9% of the population, and that if
Less
they
than 10%.
engage, less than 10%. Sorry, so they're around 9% or 8%.
No, I'm just saying it's
Yeah,
less
it's
than
less than
10,
10%.
like the milestone.
Yeah. Now, they've been conscientized throughout their existence that if they engage freely in copulating with black people and procreating, whiteness as we know it in 50 to 100 years or in 3 generations will decimate and would be obsolete. So,
And that was the reason for white, so-called white supremacy.
Yeah.
It's white inferiority. It's an admission of their inferiority in terms of their recessive
yeah,
genes.
so it's a safety measure.
They've always known that they can be bred out by blacks.
Yes.
It's not like Africa was invented after Europe.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying, though. I'm trying to get to that
Europe was
point.
invented by Africans.
I'm trying to get to that point that you are trying to sell an idea of white women openly dating black men, but it's not something that they're gonna acquiesce to easily because throughout their existence they've been taught, they've lived in secluded suburbs where they cannot easily make friends with black kids and fall in love naturally with black kids because whiteness as we know it will cease to exist if that happens freely. And this is a global phenomenon. Wherever white people find themselves, whether it's in the Caribbean,
They have to protect their
they-
racial
yes,
purity.
yes,
because they've got recessive genes. And that's why Hitler wanted to breed the Aryan race to protect white racial purity
Yeah.
because of their inherent inferiority. You
so
understand?
why would they then
So they've got
copulate freely?
they've got a white supremacy is an inferiority complex.
I get it.
Right?
I've always
now
got
they,
that.
they now what they need to understand is that this melanin that's in our skin is to protect us from the sun. The sun is actually killing white people. The biggest killer in America is skin cancer.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? That's the number one killer in America. It's because the sun is literally killing them. They're like vampires. You know, Team Edward, Team Jacob, it doesn't matter. You know, all whites are suffering from that. So white women can protect their children by having black children. White men can protect their children by having black children. I don't think that I can convince the majority of white women to be with black men.
Yeah.
But what I can do is stop the brainwashing that teaches them that black men are a danger or to avoid black men. And I can also stop the brainwashing that black men get to fear white women because of the consequences of being with a white woman in the past.
You've said consistently that women are the gatekeepers.
Of reproduction.
Yep. And they also carry the race forward. Through them,
Yeah.
they get to select what kind of
Yes.
men they get to give.
They also carry your family name as a man.
Yeah.
And-
right? So why would white women, understanding the predicament that their race is facing, why would they then participate in the decimation of their own race?
Because it economically benefits them in Africa. In South Africa in particular.
Ultimately, the end point is that it decimates their own race.
Their race, right, is not supposed to survive. unfortunately.
Well, it has survived over the years.
Exactly. And how have they done that?
Through exactly doing what they're doing now.
Through their inferiority complex and guess what? It's not working because their numbers are dwindling and dwindling and dwindling. White people are reproducing at a reproductive rate of 1.4, which is almost half of the replacement rate of 2.6. So basically, the generation of today is going to be twice that of the generation in 25 years from now, from a population perspective. So you're looking at within someone's lifespan. Let's say someone's lifespan is now 69 years in South Africa, right? About 60 million, right? People. If you look in the next 70 years, okay, you're going to have half as many white people alive in South Africa as you do right now. Just imagine that, as you do right now, not as half as many as would be alive in 70 years, as you do right now.
So if there are, mathematically speaking, if there are, hypothetically speaking, 9 million white people now, today,
by 2090,
there will be
4.5
million
that are actually 100% pure white. Some would have bred out, some would have died out.
And this is interlinked with
the fact that they've got the recessive gene. They're genetically inferior.
It has nothing to do with the conditioning of having 2 kids in a family.
Well, they've got less fertility as well because of the conditions that they've lived in. The conditions that they live in Europe are not conducive to having lots of kids because it's cold, it's very difficult to actually have kids.
Now, I'm talking about the South African white person.
Yeah, the South African white person is not different from the European.
No, I get that. I get that, but the climate
thousands of
here,
years ago.
The climate here and the conditions here
is killing them through skin cancer. It's killing their kids.
What I'm trying to get to is their fertility rate being linked with them being conditioned.
All Europeans have got a lower fertility rate than Africans.
I'm aware of that.
And Africa has got the highest fertility rate in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Japanese are suffering. They've got a replacement rate of 1.1, and they don't allow foreigners to intermingle with them. Imagine. And Japanese women are not as fertile as African women.
Yeah, we've always known that.
Yeah, but even in the conditions that they live in, it's very difficult to raise many children in such conditions. And conditions are getting better and better and better, right? But our fertility, right, which has developed over thousands of years of genetic our genes, they modify each 1,000 years. So that's like maybe, if let's say 1,000 years, every 20 generations, there'd be a change in your DNA somewhat, and it's not like we've gone through 1,000 years from when we were in the feudal system to now coming into the industrial Africa, which has been brought about by, the incursion of the colonial military might. So within this current structure, right now, our women still have the same fertility rate as African women did 1,000 years ago. But the infant mortality rate is significantly less.
Yeah.
The kids are not dying of all the things that were, kids were being eaten by lions and whatever back 1,000 years from now. 1,000 years ago. And so,
can we take it back to your original hypothesis, though? You are saying that black men should widen their pool.
Yeah.
By
a reproduction pool. Yeah.
Considering white women.
Yeah. Look at America right now. Right? Since 2010, the rate of sexless men, which is men who haven't had sex in a period of 12 months, right, has increased.
I cannot relate to that.
Has increased from 10% to 30%. Just imagine that. And in the same time, the rate of women who are having now more sexual partners has also increased. So less men are having sex with more women. So this whole sexual liberation movement, which was supposed to be benefiting women, is making sex cheaper for rich men. It's benefiting men.
Yeah, dumb it down a little bit. So as a result of...
Basically, before, to get sex, you'd have to marry a woman.
Yeah.
You'd have to send cows, lobola. That's a very expensive exercise.
Yeah.
You have to bring you in your whole family. Now you can have sex for airtime.
Yeah,
you can buy a girl airtime and then still get sex.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
There's no virginity. There's no
But link it up with the last 10 years of the observation. I'm saying dumb down.
So the more liberal women have become, the more free they've become, the cheaper they've become, right? The less men are having sex. Because the fact that women are becoming more free and more liberal and having more sexual partners means that they're sharing the same sexual partners more and more.
So it's a few select men who gets to sleep with
multiple women.
The exponential growth of women fucking.
Yeah. That's it. And that's it.
Because in as much as they are liberated, they still maintain the standard of who to fuck. Who is
but guess what hasn't changed?
Economically beneficial to fuck.
Guess what hasn't changed? The desire of a man to marry a woman who is sexually pure. So women have taken themselves out of the biggest wealth gainer for women, which is marriage. Because less and less of them are becoming wife material.
Yeah. And there are lesser marriages now. Yeah.
People are taking longer to get married. People are being more circumspect before getting married because being married is a risk. As a black man, the biggest risk you can take is marrying a black woman. And that's why, I encourage a lot more black men to start looking outside of black women in particular, because when you're dealing with black women, and just in the same way as black men were oppressed, black women were oppressed. So you're dealing with people who've been trained to not even look after themselves, to hate themselves. So how can they even love their own children? I spoke about how my mother was scared of me and everything else. It's because she was trained to think that I'm a little criminal. I'm a little tsotsi. She's raising a little tsotsi. So her whole entire thing was to try and stop me from turning into a criminal. She's like, okay, by the time this guy's an adult, he'll probably turn into a criminal. I need to do everything I can to stop him from turning into a criminal. So what does that mean? My mother had internalized. She'd internalized that I'm a little criminal. Imagine my own mother, the person who's supposed to love me more than anything else, looks at me like a little criminal or a potential criminal. That's how black women look at their black sons. You cannot expect someone who looks at a potential little criminal to be a good mother. So black women have been trained to be bad mothers. And we don't get to discuss this because we love our mothers, And loving someone is about expecting them even with their imperfections. I love my mother even knowing that she wasn't the greatest mother, But her not being the greatest mother doesn't stop me from having a successful life. There's a lot of people who are born to deadbeats, shitholes, alcoholics, abusers.
I was chatting to newspaper outlets now about my story when I shared
that you shared,
and my underlying thing there was that I said,
can't choose your parents, but you can choose whose child you become.
Absolutely, and I was saying this is not a sad story for me. The fact that my mother was raped and that she neglected me and that she didn't love me. And they even talked to her, actually. I was so surprised.
Oh.
Someone was calling her. There will be an article that I will share.
Okay.
And they even spoke to her. And I was like you're saying, about the love. I was feeling for her on her behalf, like, shit. These people are going to ask her questions. And she's going to have to confront something that she's never had to confront about the idea that she had 3 kids. And she never really
And she had postnatal depression.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And she never really supervised them properly. She never went to our school meetings and shit like that. So, yeah, I get your point about the need to love these people with their imperfections.
So what I'm doing is asking black men to give black women tough love. If we really love them, we have to give them this tough love. We have to show them that they cannot be selling themselves short, and we will not enable that. We will not just sit idly by while they get flown on vacations and then have to tweet about either being sacrificed or something, just to make sure that it doesn't actually happen. But let's not go into that.
A very good point. The fact that I say I would rather be killed happy means
I'd rather die happy.
Yeah, I'd rather die happy means that I'm putting it out there to the world that
to be safe.
Yeah, if
anything happens to me,
if I'm there, just know that I was on
sacrificed
this ship with this person and I was sacrificed.
Yeah,
I get that angle.
Hey, man, it's let's just stay away from that because where there are people who are threatening being killed or whatever, or think that they can be sacrificed or killed. You're dealing with killers. So that's exactly why whenever their fixer called me, because I can't prove that it was them, that it was Mihlali that asked me to I can't prove it, you understand? Because they sent a fixer that we'll make sure that there's any deniability, even in the text messages. Like, there's no way I can prove it to you. Like, you just have to believe me, that 10,000 that I donated under my wife's name, because I made sure that the reference is under my wife, because she's the one who apologized on her own behalf. I don't know why she was apologizing for me, because, I've got nothing to apologize for. And anyway. Donated it to help Bukamoso with her studies. She's going to be studying in the United States at AMDA, the American Music and Dance Academy in San Francisco. And fortunately, the Gauteng government has also decided to help. So it's not going to be like that Esona situation that was trending.
People were making a meme out of that shit.
No, this is not this is a real one. And thanks to all the people. I don't know whether to thank Michali or not, but thanks to my wife for donating 10,000 rands. We've raised, I think, just over 40,000 rands so far. And Bukamoso's future looks very, very bright.
And Bukame someone's future, right? Bukame someone's future.
Yeah.
Would you seriously consider? Well, maybe you have the answer to this already, but your next relationship and or marriage to be with a white woman, is that the
no
that the direction you want to take?
No, dude, I'm strong enough for a black woman. I'm probably as strong as they come, as men come. Like, I'm an example of what a strong black man should be. I'm not gonna Will Smith. I'm not gonna be moping, crying, and everything else. She's not heavy. She's my light. I love my wife very much. My wife is going through whatever she's going through. She's wilding out. Our marriage is being tested, and she's brought that into the public right now. So now it has to be tested in the public. So I get questions about it in the public.
Yeah.
But I've got no intention of abandoning my family.
Okay. So utuma bantu bajoana belungu. Kanti wena uzojoana belungu.
I'm saving them. I'm saving them what I'm going through. Look at what I'm going through. Look at what I'm going through. Look at what I'm going through, and I'm saying, look at what I'm going through, black men, and saying that you are endangering yourselves with black women who've been trained to bring you down, with black women who've been trained to be bad mothers to their children. And the only way you can make them look up to themselves more is by showing them their value, by not enabling them to continue their bad behavior. It's like the reason why I was, for me, what turned me off Somizi at first, right, was his marriage drama. I felt like, he's actually destroying the black family. The first thing that I had an objection to was when Somizi was forcing to go to Grace Bible Church, and people were objecting to it. My aunt, my aunt went to Grace Bible Church, Pastor Musa Sono, who's got a son called Nhlamulo, by the way, as well, which is my name. He got criticized for having Somizi at his church, and I said to myself, why do gay people want to go to church? Because, the Bible is against their lifestyle. Like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
It's like women who want to get paid as much as men do in sports that men invented. Like, why don't they invent their own sports? Why don't gay people have their own religion that they can not be judged in, Why do they have to force themselves to be included in things that are not for them, and things that actually are for a certain type of people, the things that have a criteria? Why do they need to force themselves to be included? It's like the overweight women who fight for Mr. Price to spend more money making clothes that fit them because they don't want to eat normally and stick to a healthy diet, and they want to be obese. Why do we allow people who want to have a different lifestyle to bully us who are in the mainstream? A minority now needs to govern the majority.
Isn't the onus on the church to accept whoever they want to?
Exactly, it is.
So
so if
so if Usona, whatever the grace of the Bible Church is, If bavumele uba makangene phaa umtshita, what's the problem?
No, it's against what the church preaches.
No. But bavumele the institution.
No. The pastor invited him.
The leader of that institution.
But the church is about its congregants.
Yes, then
there is no church without the congregants.
They can protest.
How? But
in protest they can say,
okay,
we don't agree, we are leaving. You can preach, you and Somizi, the two of you. But yes, the leader of that institution.
But that's exactly what they did.
Okay.
And then he chose his congregants over Somizi.
Oh, okay.
And that's, so you understand? That they said they're going to leave the church. They threatened to leave the church.
That's one course of action that they could take.
They did that.
It's not that complex.
They did that.
Yeah. You can decide, just like any podcast, I'm not going to watch anymore. And
now you look at that behavior, and I was like, okay, that raised the flag. I was still a child then. Then he gets married. Okay, fine. He wants to have the whole entire ceremony. And then he pisses on marriage and unions and black families the whole entire way. He does it for a True Love magazine covers, for clout, for a Showmax TV show, for money, for every other reason than what you should be marrying for. And then they say, oh, this is a celebration of a union between a man and a man. So especially the gay community should embrace this because, this is what they fought for. They fought for the rights of men to marry. And I think to myself, hold on. Gay people want to have the same rights as women in marriage because they want to. So why are they wanting to be different yet wanting to enjoy privileges of people who are all the same? Like
expand on that because I think that's interesting. Actually, that's an interesting.
It's like topic. Why would you get married as gay men? Because if you're saying that the marriage is a union and it's about God and it's about then why would you want to find yourself in an institution that is presided over by a God who does not want you?
Yeah. Well, you have a point there. I mean, with Christianity and Islam and all the religions. Yeah.
You understand?
You have a point
all
there.
The religions. And guess what happens with all these other religions? They look at Christianity and they think, it's the laughing stock. Christianity will bend to anybody. Anybody can come and corrupt Christianity. Soon you'll have the Pope running to every single gay bar apologizing for being against the LGBTQ community.
Maybe it's the software updates. The Bible, they're giving it a software update.
That's the thing. Religion doesn't have software updates. That's the thing.
2022 version.
How does the truth change? Depending on the time. No, it doesn't. Yeah. The truth is the truth.
Because if they were crucifying Jesus now, it would be different from nailing him. Yeah, a software update. Well, 2022...
What would they be doing now? They'd be making a trending topic.
Whatever.
For 3 days.
Yeah, he would be trending.
For 3 days.
They would cancel him. Yeah, so.
Then I must be Jesus, because I've trended for 3 days a number of times.
You wonder why motherfuckers call you narcissistic. You wonder why.
No, actually, I don't wonder. It's the easiest way to try and insult someone who's obviously...
You just called yourself, you must be Jesus of 2022.
No, I'm being crucified. That's true. You've observed it. I've been crucified. You know what I mean? And people have said to me, not everybody loved Jesus when he was alive. Well, I've sacrificed myself for the good of my people. And I'm getting crucified. I have sacrificed myself, dude. I sacrificed R250,000 rand to fight corruption for the good of my people. I sacrificed R250,000 rand to fight rape culture in the industry, which influences a lot of people, for my people. I've done a whole lot of things for my people. You understand? So if you want to nail me to the cross digitally, you want to nail me to the cross literally, at the end of the day, I've put my life on the line. Mm. And even my wife can tell you, she thought that, no ways, I cannot be next to Jesus Christ when he gets crucified and killed. So
who's your Mary Magdalene? Who is that bitch that's going to be there when you resurrect after 3 days and looking after your wounds and taking care of you, washing your feet? Who's your Mary Magdalene?
Wouldn't you want to know? I'm not answering that question. I just come from court. I know
Jesus
what
was
to
a
answer and what
carpenter.
not.
He made beats.
You understand?
Yeah. That's all Dinero dynamic is getting a bit awkward by the day. and it's
It's
trending. Trending.
It's sorted.
Is it sorted?
I know it's sorted.
Do you think she's going to tone down?
She will.
Why?
Because her job's on the line.
And who created that dynamic for her job to be on the line?
Nkululeko and Cultr. He had this other funny, crazy guest. This guy who used to say he argues with his dad when he was 4 years old. And that guy just told, out of love, the country, yo, look at this thing and tell me if you see what I see. And everybody agrees, and they see that this guy is being abused at the workplace. And Chillers came out in his defense. And at the end of the day, what Kai FM needs to understand is that they think that they captured Podcast and Chill with me. No. Podcast and Chill captured Kai FM. Because now they have to Saul is what, explain all these things, right? Because the chillers want accountability. They're saying, yo, you better treat our prized asset very well. We popularized this guy. We created him. We made him a household name. And you are benefiting from our creation as the chillers. You're not going to abuse our soul. That's our soul.
Yeah, I think he's in a very difficult dynamic, and I'm speaking to him now just to get him on, and we have an interview. But I think
that's good. He blocked me on WhatsApp. I was surprised. I was like, how?
Fuck that, man. Like, you guys have a thing going on. But anyways.
How?
No.
He's my Mary Magdalene now.
I don't want to get into that. I don't want to jeopardize my chances of talking to him.
Okay.
I want to explore a lot of things with him.
Okay.
When we have a
No, but I've got love for him, dog.
Yeah.
You understand? That's why I said what I said. I said it out of love because I don't want to see him getting abused. And I was rallying up the chillers to say, yo, as one of the biggest chillers, I was like, yo, chillers, let's make sure we protect Saul.
So I was about to say, like, that's an interesting dynamic because he can't outright say that he's being abused in the workplace.
No man can say that.
It's very difficult for him to confront that situation. And even when I have a conversation with him, I don't know if he's going to be open about what's happening there. And because you still have to maintain a cordial relationship with your co-host, and it's very, very difficult. Like, I can't see him.
It's not a soul
hard.
thing. It's not a workplace thing.
Yeah.
As a black man, you can't say you're being abused. I spoke about it.
I think I would say that.
No.
I would say
there's no effect to it. I said it on our last episode. I spoke about how I've been abused in my own household, how I've been abused in my marriage, how I've been gaslit and everything else. No one is saying, yo, cancel Barita.
No.
She abused her. I'm just saying.
The effect would not be the same.
Why?
But I'm saying that we can still talk about the fact that we are abused.
We can't.
We can. The effect will not be the same. No one will be cancelled.
There will
not be
consequences for the women.
You know what I'm saying?
For the women.
But we can talk about it.
So what we should be talking about is why is it that women are allowed to get away with abusing black men?
Yeah.
Why are we allowing the abuse of black men, especially by black women? Because they're the biggest, like the biggest culprits.
Yeah, but also keeping up with consistency. We are the industry leaders and industry creators. We will always most likely be consequenced. Because when you look at the dynamic of any man who says their
white men are. When you stop saying we and including us with things that white men have achieved.
Sure. No, I'm saying, but anyways,
because that's the thing, they look at us as men.
So between the two of us, there is a stake. We can be consequenced with whatever we're doing. Of
course,
as men. As men.
Yeah.
And we have things that are going for us that are positive.
Yeah.
And we have ties with companies, advertising revenue, whatever. But if I say my wife is abusing me, in most cases, where do people go and cancel her? For example, like any random wife.
They can.
Any random wife. You will find that they're not industry leaders, really. They're not CEOs and CFOs of companies and stuff like that. So that's the perspective I'm coming at. But with the Dineo situation, she can be consequenced, but even though I'm not saying that must happen.
It should happen.
She should
be censured.
I've never listened to.
She's just doing what she did in that video clip where she was shouting at her boyfriend's Chaba.
Oh yeah, that was fucked up.
You understand? And it showed her character.
That was fucked up.
And as someone who's an employer, once someone has shown you their character in public, you should know that this conduct is going to continue since there was no consequences for the first action, right? There was no consequences then. Why would Kai FM risk their own brand by hiring her to be a co-host? Why wouldn't they hire Lerato Khanyago, who already, when she was engaging with Saul on Podcast and Chill...
Sorry.
What was that? A burp, okay. It was already on.
You're full of shit. I'm literally trying to steal a moment. It's a volcano.
You're on camera, bro.
It's a volcano.
So yeah, I mean, why would they not take a chance on Lerato Kganyago, who was already like on Podcast and Chill, who doesn't have the same, attitude as Dineo Ranaka, who herself was bullied by Dineo Ranaka when they were working on the show until, clearly they had a woman-to-woman conversation and like, yo, I'm not going to step on you. There's no need. We can do this cordially. I'm not bonang. So you don't need to feel threatened.
Isn't there a dynamic where whoever is the decision maker who hires people is on the side of Dineo, so it was always going to be an impossible job? The person
that would be a presumption. That would be a presumption.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like,
well,
it's being presumed that she was headhunted by the person who was with her on Metro is now on Kaya, if I'm not mistaken, something like that. So it will be difficult.
So?
It will be difficult to even consequence her.
That's why they try to sabotage Saul by making him like a co-host instead of a co-anchor. Either way, the show is not gelling well. There is obviously no chemistry between the two of them, and it will never work well because Dineo has shown that she's not willing to become a better person. If you watch her reality show, you've seen.
I've never seen it.
Yeah, but either way, she's not willing to become a better person. So if she's not willing to become a better person, why do you need to now subject Saul to that and then gain your entire station criticism from the chillers each and every single week? You don't need to do that. Rather, fire Dineo. It'll cost you very little to fire her. People will celebrate that you fired her. Hire Lerato Kganyago. You don't need to train her how to use a radio desk and everything else. And she's a good enough broadcaster. And since you've seen the engagement between Lerato Kganyago and Saul Penduka on MacG's Podcast and Chill already, there's some cordiality between the two of them. It seems like they've got some good working chemistry together. She's a married woman. He's not looking to get into a relationship with someone who's got that level of lifestyle anyway. So she's out of his league financially. So he's not even going to try something. So you're not even facing a risk of like them getting romantically entangled and then having a fallout or something like that,
Would Skumba and Soul work?
No.
Why not?
Because
you're not even giving it a second to think about. No. You just want Lerato Kganyago. You're fucking being archaic. We are exploring options. We are exploring options.
You see, the problem with radio is that you can't now bring a new voice on a big station like KFM. You need to have an established
Skumba was there.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying you can't have a new voice on. What I'm trying to say, I've eliminated Skumba. I'm not going back there. I'm saying instead of Lerato Kganyago, maybe you could bring a new voice instead of going for the archaic, since you're saying she's archaic. Lerato Kganyago.
I'm not saying Lerato is archaic.
Okay, well, I don't know why you chose that word, but either way, you could put it.
I don't even know Lerato Kganyago.
She's on Metro FM.
Fuck Metro FM.
Yeah, but I'm just saying she'd be a better fit. Put Lerato Kganyago next to Saul Penduka.
What other women? Who else? Saying that it should be a man and a woman. These things are so fucking perverse as well. I don't believe in them. Why can't you just pick a random talented person within your talent pool?
If you put another man, then it's going to be too. It's going to be too comparable with Podcast and Chill with MacG.
No, then, but there was Thomas and Skumba there.
That I understand, but with Saul, then it would be like. You understand?
No, there's always some fucking agenda.
What I'm trying to say to you is that if you put a man next to Saul, that man will be compared to MacG each and every single time.
It doesn't matter.
Already Dineo's being compared to MacG.
It doesn't matter. And even the fan base, it can actually be fucking problematic as well.
Okay, then get fresh then.
Yeah,
that's the best option.
Get anyone,
that's the best option. Get fresh, actually.
Yeah.
KFM should just get fresh.
Yeah.
And actually, get fresh and Lerato. Get both of them.
Why should there be co-anchors as well? I think the last 10, 15 years...
I mean, you can see the difference.
Why should there be co...
Do you think
people?
Podcast and Chill would be as big as it is and as dope as it is if it was just MacG by himself?
With podcasts, we have to. You can't just be by yourself. With breakfast shows like those on radio...
Joe Rogan does it by himself.
They're very formulated. No, Joe Rogan has hosts. Like
he has guests a lot often. So
with podcasts,
but he does do it by himself. There are people who do it by themselves.
I know
Matt Walsh, the guy who did that.
But
What is a woman?
But there's always like a time limit. A nigga can't speak alone.
He does
for 2 hours.
Matt Walsh.
I know Bill Burr.
The Matt Walsh show, he does it. It's almost 2 hours.
Yes.
It's 1 hour and a half.
But there's a limit to how far it can go because you're always hearing the same perspective, same voice.
Yes, he does have to invite guests to broaden the audience. Yes,
exactly.
That's true.
With Bill Burr, like I listen to him occasionally. Every 3 months I go on a run of 4 weeks listening, and then I stop listening for 3 months because it's the same voice, it's the same comedian doing the same thing. Radio is formulaic in the first place. Radio is bullshit in the first place.
Now you're saying that. I thought you wanted to start a radio station.
There's ads. No, I will do it in my way. I'm a visionary. I will when I do it, I will do it different.
Oh,
the
you
news,
flip it.
The news won't be.
The radio, the way it's being done.
Yes, the
is
news
boring.
won't be.
Not radio in general.
No. That
people
medium,
can misinterpret what you just said.
That medium is beautiful for me, and our people are still slow. They still love radio, and that's the market. That's my vision of it. But there's no need to do news at 0:00 and at past. I would do news randomly at any decided time. I would flip the whole shit. There's no need for a sports anchor if I feel there's no need for it. Radio is very formulaic, so you can still have like a one individual hosting a show because every 10 minutes there's a slot for this, a slot for that, there's an interview for this, there are songs as well. There's no need to have like 2 anchors spending so much
money.
The
good thing about having personalities, and especially personalities who've got good social media followings, is that you can also use their personal social media followings to add value to whatever campaigns that you get to do. So if you were to have Fresh as the anchor, you have Sol Penduka and Lerato Kganyago as co-anchors, you've got 3 people who could be as social. Yeah.
Yo, that's a headache, bro.
I don't think so. I don't think. Yeah, I don't think so. Will be full of shit.
No, not so. So is a
I don't think Fresh is going to be full of shit after.
These people are egotists. Bro.
Yes,
there's a reason why this thing all of a sudden became controversial within a month of it starting.
Fresh.
These guys. You look at what happened with Unati and Sizwe. Whatever the allegations were between Unati and Sizwe Lomo.
Where's Unati now?
Whatever local radio station.
So there was no real consequences.
I'm not even trying to make that point. I'm saying these people, bro, when you put them together, I worked at Massive Metro and I saw it. I'm like, shit, these niggas are full of shit. These super celebrities.
All celebrities are full of shit. Imagine being married to one.
You keep on taking it there, and I'm trying to avoid that marriage situation.
Yeah, dude, you know what is going to happen? Whether we take it there or not, it's going to be in the comments. So we might as well address it.
Keep on taking it. We did Elephant in the Room. We did Elephant in the Room, and I was like, okay, officially.
Nah. This thing is going to follow me everywhere, trust me. Nah. We did Elephant in the Room.
You read comments. I don't read comments.
That's the thing. So
I don't read comments.
Because I read comments and,
I'm in an empowered position to do whatever I want creatively because I'm not driven by comments. I couldn't care less what people think. Like, if they said don't bring Nota, and I'm sure there are comments that say that, imagine what the fuck, what must I do? Am I a bitch? Must I not bring you here? We're niggas. We're gaining from
bring me here
other.
In disguise.
No, fuck that. We're gaining from each other, from our relationship with each other. So why would I?
And imagine after they say that, right? Don't bring Nota. They write such a long essay in the comments. Like, it's a long.
Are the essays?
They got so many essays.
I haven't seen
Nota is like this. What. And I'm thinking to themselves, dog, this is not UNISA. You're not gonna get a certificate for this thesis. This is YouTube comments, dog.
Yeah.
Nkululeko is not even gonna read your comments.
Yes, but it is TV. 140,000 subscribers. I haven't read a comment in like a year and a half.
You see,
a year and a half.
So, have you ever been sued?
No, I've been threatened with
by a soccer player.
No, by Robert Marawa. I've been threatened.
Robert Marawa?
Yes, but it didn't go anywhere. But there was a legal letter sent to me by him. But I won't talk about it.
Okay.
Because we dealt with it.
But now imagine if soccer players wanted to sue Robert Marawa for saying, this guy played terribly, whatever. So these celebrities that are not athletes, that don't actually have to do something to gain fame and money, that just get put on platforms and get lucky. Because, let's be honest. To be an artist or a musician is not as hard work as being a professional soccer player. Professional soccer player has to train and everything else, has to live a certain lifestyle. An artist, other than studio is fun. It's not training.
Yeah, I'd love to be in the studio.
That's why artists can spend a whole entire week there.
I would love to be in that.
It's a nice environment. You've never heard of a soccer player.
We must record a mixtape together one day.
Yeah, but no. I'm too expensive.
No, not a mixtape. that.
Yeah, but either way, no.
Let's record music.
Nah, dog.
You're past that.
I'm probably one of the most prolific producers in South Africa, bro.
Yeah,
I can't do something for fun.
I'm not saying that.
I hear what you're saying, but I'm saying I can't do something for fun.
Didn't we chill for no reason today?
We did, but we can't be making music. Music is my money maker. That's my bread and butter, bro. I take that seriously.
But going back to people and how they react to content, I'm saying like you don't have to get involved in that. You don't have to get involved in that because it does affect it does affect the next statements that you're going to make at some point because you've seen people reacting,
you're responding, and you're replying.
So you now doing your next video is like, no, I was talking about DJ Spoo not working and Nota, and like if I had to read those comments, I would then my next video I'm like, no guys, I wasn't meaning to offend you guys.
Okay, for you that's right, but for me, I'm trying to create a conversation. So
what's the point? Because there are people who are dedicated.
There
are
will
people
be dedicated.
Who are dedicated to misunderstanding you all the time.
And I know. And each and every single time I respond, it creates a conversation. It creates it's a back and forth.
No,
and trust me, people are addicted. People are addicted to the
other than gaining that one view and gaining, because people who hate you are committed to you. Other than gaining that one view, because every one person's view counts once.
Yes, but
other
that
than
reaction,
gaining that engagement, trust me, it goes nowhere. I've seen people, bro, who dedicate their lives to the idea of...
I'm not dedicating my life.
Well, not you. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about people who dedicate their lives to the idea of, I'm going to hate this motherfucker. I hate whatever he says. Fuck him. He thinks he's God. You know what I'm saying? Like, you will never convince that person to like you. Whether you're Junior Kanye or Nkululeko or Nota, you will never convince that person. The way to fuck that nigga up is keep on shooting the next week. And then 12 months later, you've gained 150,000 subscribers. And it hurts them. Like, they're like, I used to tell, like, someone told me, like, yo, stick to football. And we were at, like, 250 subscribers. And every single day I shoot content, it's a middle finger to that one person who said, stick to talking football. Fuck you, what the fuck are you trying to do? And next year, in February, I will have 100,000 subscribers. That will happen empirically. It's already shown that I'm getting 10,000 subscribers every month. And by February next year, March, give or take, I will have 100,000 subscribers. And the motherfucker who said, keep sticking to football, that's a middle finger to that person and everyone else with that kind of attitude. You don't have to read comments, bro. You don't have to engage in that. I even resent fans who stick up for you on their behalf because things happen as a result of that. You see, this soul dynamic and Dineo dynamic, the chillers, and who are the Aris's ones? Slimes,
yeah,
and Tsipipians for Casper. These dynamics sometimes
the Patrick Shy killers.
Yeah,
his wife even said that.
Oh yeah, she confirmed that.
She confirmed what I've been saying.
You see,
I think you should speak to her, by the way.
Like, if I could have fans that are like that, I would stop shooting. Like, it would be the end of it. This thing for me will make me rich, but I will stop shooting if I have fans. I will tell them, I will warn them, guys, don't attack anyone on my behalf because I have a dope life. I'm living my best life. I'm creating content. That's what I want to do. If they get in the way, let's say I will do a show on.
They create enemies for you.
Exactly. It's an unnecessary thing. I walk in there and my co-host or whoever I'm hosting a show with, I have a tension with. I didn't start. I'm not involved in. And all of a sudden I have to deal with that. I will tell them, stop doing that. And as a result, to consequence them, even though I'm losing money in the process, I will just say, guys, I won't shoot for a month or two until you guys change your behavior because I don't agree with you attacking people on my behalf. I don't even SMS that person. I don't WhatsApp him. They don't exist in my life. Don't dedicate yourselves. Like, did you see how people were freaked out when Casper and AKA shook hands at a soccer match? People who dedicated their past 10 years to choosing one side or the other.
The past 10 years, okay, it doesn't 10 years, man. I think the beef started some 2014.
So past 8 years, same thing. You to choose one side or the other. How can your life be defined by
SA hip-hop got destroyed by that beef. It divided the whole entire thing. Everybody lost money. The entire industry is now the stepchild of South African music.
I would say that it had its moments of traction.
Yeah, but that beef
initial
it did, but then it owned. It became about the beef. The beef became bigger than SA hip hop.
And now you had to
because
choose
the
sides.
media.
You chose AKA.
I didn't.
You chose AKA.
No, I didn't. I put both AKA and Casper on Dakar 2. I didn't choose sides.
Yeah, but let me put it this way.
I use their beef.
You've spoken.
I use their beef.
You've spoken positively one over the other.
No. I haven't.
Well, that's how it looked to me when you speak about AKA and when you speak about Casper.
It's always an issue-to-issue basis. The thing is that for me, I don't take any of that personally. I don't take any of the criticism personally. The comments, I read them because for me it inspires responses. It inspires replies. You know what I mean? So I use that for content. And plus, I'm not creating my own content right now. I'm still, being a guest on different shows.
Yeah.
So I'm taking that in, and I'm also using it as a learning thing because I've never been a broadcaster before. Although
you did a good interview with Fiesta Black. My ears were listening to hear whether or not you could interview someone, and you did decently in that.
Yeah, I did a better interview than she actually had with McG. And so no.
I didn't watch the McG. I've never watched.
No. I'm just saying I
like taking things far.
I'm not taking things far. I spent 50,000 rands to do that interview.
It doesn't. Yes,
of my own money. And the reason
I
why
don't want to dismiss that part. It's important that you spend money.
I spent 50,000 rands.
Now you are saying qualitatively that you did a better interview than McG with Fiesta Black.
I did that intentionally.
That's not where I was trying to take this.
That I understand that, but
I said
I take your compliment. Can I tell you why I did it? Can I tell you why I spent 50,000 rands interviewing her properly? Because I saw her on Podcast and Chill with McG. I watched it. And I saw that as a disservice to her and her brand. So I said, you know what? Instead of just having this and this be the only content that's out there, let me actually invest in creating content. I even hired Maligant Media. I even hired Sol Penduga to be a host at that event. I've spoken about this before.
Yes. You've
so, that was to help her and to assist her and to also prove to her, right, that yes, you might tell your story and everything else, but there are people who believe in you. You know what I mean?
But qualitatively...
And to give her the confidence.
Qualitatively, you're not an interviewer, but you did a decent job there.
And so I'm getting better.
Yeah.
And I'm training myself.
Well, I haven't seen you
even the last episode. That you and I did together.
Yeah.
I told you about how much I've been rewatching all of the content and looking at my mistakes that I've been making in the past. And so I'm getting better and better. And for me, it helps me improve as a broadcaster. It helps me.
Just on that point, you will easily be.
So I'm not taking it personally right now.
Yeah.
There will come a time where I need to block off the comments, and
when
you've just said,
when you're the broadcaster, don't worry about that shit.
And that's why not being the broadcaster allows me to engage, allows me to use this to create content and everything else. For me in particular, it also helps me, build up a thicker skin. So I get a thick skin from it. I take the criticism. I'll see, okay, is there any value to this? Okay, this one, no, I can discard. And,
because just on that, one case study about this was when Sbu apologized on behalf of JJ Tabane. The first 3 hours, the comments were available. People could comment and people were pissed off. Mm-hmm. And the comments were closed after 3 or 4 hours. And for me, I would like for people to critique me, but I won't see it. It won't affect me. Tomorrow, I know the things that I need to improve all the time as a broadcaster. I've done this thousands of times in football, plus ETSK TV, and now this. I know where I need to improve all the time. I don't need to be told by someone who's not an industry expert, So I want us to always open up that space. So I'm not saying that we should close off people from commenting. That's not going to help your platform anyways.
Yeah.
Because people are there for the content. They press pause after 10 minutes and then they go see what other people are feeling about this. But it doesn't affect you because
I don't think at ShopRite the CEO has access to the customer service line either. So I mean, so maybe if more and more people support this channel, if more and more people actually say thank you for this content, we can afford to pay someone to actually read through the comments and actually assess them.
And then what's going to happen? Because I'm not going to allow them to tell them.
No, they're not going to tell you what they will just give you a report.
No, I don't want any report.
No, it will
maybe
be part
a report of how many people comment.
Everything.
But I don't want the content. Like I don't want that shit to get in the way of the shit that I'm doing.
Now, that's why I'm saying that you can hire a professional person who can now say, okay, as a brand, this is where we're penetrating, this is where we're lacking, and everything else. And
no, they shouldn't tell me because that still is influential to what I will do tomorrow. So they're telling me that because I knew when I made that opening segment talking about defending you and Sbu and Slick Talk on the last episode with myself and Tlantla and Tula.
Oh yes, that's the one I was listening to when I came back from court the other
day.
Yeah.
I did that deliberately, and I knew what the commentary would be because you always experiment with the types of tones you can use. When you told me about performative anger and the time that I was speaking to you about Questa, and you were like, he got married and the money being used and you have to be there, I thought you were genuinely angry, and maybe you were, but you know how to control it because you've trained yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I was so shocked in that moment, but of course my style is just to keep quiet when people are going on, and then maybe...
And then say, I see Vanilla.
Yeah, so I need to observe the situation because I wasn't familiar with you at that time.
Yeah.
So I did that deliberately. I know Joe Biden has moments where he opens with a monologue.
Where he rants.
And he rants. I know what
Those
happens.
are always his biggest episodes.
Yeah, and I know what happens when Kanye does that. And I know
when Mac G does it. Okay, you don't watch Mac G.
No, I've never watched Mac G. I know when you do it, what happens. So I did it, I experimented, and the engagement was higher than any of our previous podcasts with the three of us.
Yeah.
I took that sacrifice.
Because people like the rant.
Yeah. And which is obviously something you can learn from an audience. Uguti, you can say 100 right things. You say one, like with Advocate Defo. In my memory, it's still Paris lost that game against Ajax Cape Town. In my memory,
dog,
I remembered that.
How could you? Okay, I'm a Pirates fan, dog.
Yeah.
I remember that game because it was revenge for the final Rothmans Cup. Remember the last Rothmans Cup?
Yeah,
we first drew 1-1. The last one. The penultimate. We drew 1-1, and then we had a replay, and then they beat us 4-1.
Yeah.
That's when they beat us.
Yes,
4-1. Rothmans Cup. Yes, and then we avenged that.
But that was
Senzo's.
later.
I know, but that's the thing. That was. Dog, you need to understand
but
what brought that match. I need to explain this to you because a lot of Pirates fans are really angry at what you did there.
Yeah.
And I need to explain it to you why it was so sentimental to us. We never forgot that last Rothmans Cup because Rothmans Cup was a tournament that we used to win, right? And then Manning Rangers then won it, I think 3 times in a row or something like that.
Not exactly, no.
Or something like Manning. Manning Rangers won it a couple times with Gordon Iggesund, right?
They won the league. They won the league in 97.
No, they won the Rothmans Cup as well.
Not 3 times in a row, because around that time, 97, 98, the 2 finals back to back with Chiefs and Sundowns.
Okay, I was 7 years old. I was 8 years old.
I watched those matches.
Okay, so cool.
I was also the same age.
So Sundowns then started dominating the Rothmans Cup.
And they won the league 3 times.
They even beat Chiefs in the final. I think there was one final that played at Loftus.
That final, Kaiser Chiefs won because Sundowns were cheated on.
Yes, I remember that match. Actually, yes. It was a 3-2 or something.
It was 2-2 and then they lost the penalties.
Yes. Okay. You see, there we go.
So Fire Masilela scored.
Yes.
So
Fire.
I remember all these games. I just
remember. When was that? It was like 99, 2000.
98, 99. I was 8 years or 9 years old watching it in the shipping.
Okay, so you still remember when you were 8 and 9 years old?
Yes, I remember.
But people think I'm crazy.
That's why when I listen to you talk about 4 years old, I got it. Because when I was 6 at primary school, I used to be called to recite because I was the only kid who could speak English at 6 years old.
Yeah.
So when you were saying at 4 years old you did the things that you did, I got it. Because I was a child, not genius per se, but I was a child who taught himself to read at that age.
Yeah.
So when there are white people doing a gardening project,
but who was reading in the house?
No one was reading in the house.
Okay, I had a 10-year-old sister when I was 4 years old.
Oh yes.
And I was trying to compete with her.
And you've been saying that, yeah.
I've been trying to compete. Because like my sister's like got PhDs and everything else. And for me to prove myself as a kid, I always needed to now be smart, be as good as my sister. But my sister could sing and I could never sing. So, but anyway, as I was saying that,
I understand,
to correct you.
Like, for other people, we'll go back to this. I understand as I'm learning people that some people, their memory is fuzzy until maybe they were 14. I have memories of my uncle being stabbed when I was 4 or 3. Around the time I saw him being stabbed. And
it was a really traumatic event as a child.
Yeah, I remember. So some people they are late bloomers. They only started learning how to read when they were 14 or 10.
And some people can't understand that you can remember something as a child and then grow up to be an adult and make sense of it.
Yes.
So I was talking about memories that I was able to make sense of.
In retrospect.
You understand? Yeah. And now people are going to take that and make a meme of that. And I love the fact that they've made a meme of that. It's trending. It's trending everywhere. But that
the Pirates game, I still, to this day, remember it as a loss. Even though I watched it, it was raining.
No, the reason why is because of that Rothmans Cup. I understand that. The Rothmans Cup, dog, that Rothmans Cup 4-1 loss, dog, was a shock to the system. Yeah. Because the goal started raining. It was 1-1, I think, at some point. And then the goal started raining in, and it was like... I was listening to that match on radio.
Ajax were a new club. I watched
it. I was at home.
I watched it.
So we decided to start listening on radio because we didn't want to see it. The carnage was just too much, Yeah.
So what I'm saying about that, not about that incident specifically, but you could say 100 things, correct? And I'm saying, even now, I remember that as a loss for Pirates. Like, because I know I'm so confident with my football knowledge and my experience and my track record here.
Yeah,
that
you misremember this.
I misremembered it because I watched the game and I still remember it as a loss for Pirates. And maybe it's related to the Rotman's Cup, but the Rotman's Cup happened like in 2001. Like,
yeah, but it was that's what I'm saying.
ago.
Yeah, but that it was so that Rotman's. It was the last Rotman's Cup, dog. And remembe, it was a replay.
Yeah,
because the first
replay
match
of the
was
final
1-1. Yeah.
And Steve Lekole scored a beautiful.
You
free kick,
understand?
on that
dude,
game.
dude.
Yeah, it was a beautiful free kick.
And dude, it looked like Pirates were going to, like, Ajax had already started this thing of being the bogey team for Kaizer Chiefs.
Yes, it was.
You understand? And then it was like, oh, now they've moved from just being a Kaizer Chiefs bogey to being a Pirates bogey.
The first tournament that they played was Telkom Charity Cup, and they knocked Chiefs out in the first ever game.
Now imagine, Chiefs wanted to win that Rothmans Cup that season. They wanted to win the penultimate Rothmans Cup.
Yeah.
So when we lost to Ajax,
you're a Pirates fan.
I'm a Pirates fan.
I can confirm which team.
Yeah, because you work in soccer. Yeah, but I'm a Pirates fan. When we lost, it was like Chiefs had beaten us.
So my insight about people, and as I'm talking about Joe Biden, Kanye West rants, your rants, performative anger, I tested it on the other episode. And I saw the increase in engagement. I didn't read a single comment. However, I have these people in my life where I keep on telling, stop sending me screenshots.
Hey, on WhatsApp. My mother also does that sometimes.
Stop doing that. Yeah, I saw your screenshot.
She said, no. She sent me like some City Press article that they wrote about me. Some psychologist was psychoanalyzing me from social media. Imagine, how are you going to put your certificate on the line?
Yeah. Because
I can now go to...
in the potential of defaming your character.
Yeah, like,
and affecting your future income.
You understand?
And it's in a public platform. Yeah.
In the media.
It's distributed.
You understand?
You know what I'm saying? So, but you learn things about people. So I mentioned that, and I mentioned the performative anger to say it's proven. Like, you could say 100 things correct, and the one thing that sticks out will be there. Like, the advocate different thing was factual, super factual. It was dope. It had 215,000, as we speak now, 215,000 views. But the one sticking point will be that. So you can't. So when you're creating content,
like 90% of the comments were about that 4-1.
You know what I'm saying?
I know you didn't see them, but I'll let you know. Yeah, they were.
You know, but you can't dwell on them.
Yeah.
Because what if I saw them?
But I was like, that means also like, hold on. Aren't you guys who are making comments reading the comments as well? So you're saying, okay, someone has already commented.
Yeah. You see, so that affects your content. If you ever get bogged down with that, it affects your content. Like, you would then be caught up in this idea of having to address that. The same thing with Saul and Meg G, and when he moved to Kaya, because Chillers is talking about it a lot, those two niggas have to deal with the tension that is existing on the commentary section as well. So yours is to keep creating videos all the time,
and guess what?
Creating videos.
Guess what? Just in the same way that Mac couldn't say anything in that situation, who stepped in to defend Mac? It was me. Just in the same way Saul couldn't say anything, who stepped in to defend Saul? It was me. So, people will always say, no, this guy's got making enemies and everything.
Also staring some movie,
I am this. I am. This is double impact. You understand?
Yeah. Alex and who? Jean-Claude Van Damme. Alex and who? He was his twin brother.
You understand exactly. So
and Ekasu, we believed that there were two different characters.
Yeah, and then we saw Rob Van Dam in wrestling, and then
we thought it's the same person.
You understand?
I always thought Rob Van Dam.
So people will say, how? They'll say, Nota, you always coming for people. They never say, Nota, you defended Saul when Dineo was abusing.
I see what you're saying.
Oh, Nota, you defended Mac G when Saul stabbed him in the back. Oh, Nota, you defended such and such.
Memory.
Oh, Nota, you've always said that Shimza is the most talented DJ in South Africa.
Yeah.
It's just a tragedy that he doesn't play amapiano. I don't know why my phone is...
Is that your phone? I've never had your phone vibrating, actually.
Yeah, because usually people know not to call me.
Yeah, and you don't have headsets for the first time. I've been trying to dissuade you against those headsets. They make you look old.
Oh, like I've got a hearing aid?
Yeah, and... African-American men, when Bluetooth was introduced, the older guys were always the ones who adopted to the Bluetooth.
Oh, yeah. Thing. I remember the old ones.
Yeah. So there's always like the association with Bluetooth.
These old African-American men.
These old niggas are always wearing the headsets as if they need hearing aid or something like that.
Yeah.
It was in style. But yeah, Eskom is telling us that we have only 20 minutes left because it's 6 o'clock.
My goodness.
You have anything else in your agenda that we can fuck around with?
I'm actually finding out that it wasn't load shedding at my house. The electricity actually switched off, so I need to.
What did you do?
I need to reload
To
it.
buy?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Prepaid. I need to reload my prepaid.
Okay.
It switched off in the morning, and
but
then I was
why
like,
wouldn't you know that? I'm also prepaid electricity. Why wouldn't you know?
No, there was someone in my house who I asked, "Yo, was it load shedding or was it electricity?" But we're leaving. We're going to court in the morning, so
Okay.
I think it was load shedding. So we didn't check. Because sometimes you don't know. You don't know whether you recharged enough because it switches off so often. It lasts longer than it usually does. So my schedule of buying new airtime has gone off. But now obviously it's dark in the house.
We started the conversation regarding the next president of South Africa. It's been evolving. A lot of political people are starting to go to podcasts. I've been getting a lot of people want to come here after my conversation with Andrew Matama and Advocate Tifo, and even my conversations with you about politics, and Polemabe Podcast and Chill, Julius Malema Podcast and Chill, the DA and whatever. So we're starting that conversation. I'm enthused.
Oh damn!
I'm enthused.
I'm sure. I'm damn.
What's happening?
I missed that Pule Baba interview. I'll watch it again
because we hear as it's premiering.
Yeah, and I'm always on the live comments, the live chat for MacG,
Happy Women's Day to everyone who's listening
fuck
to this.
that.
Fuck
that.
We're dropping this on Women's Day.
Fuck that. You see, so Women's Day
comes about. You're not even standing up for yourself.
Nah, fuck that Women's Day. No, I'm not saying fuck women. I'm saying fuck Women's Day because what it is that it is the day where the black women who are now working in the white households were convinced to assist their bosses, their madams, right, gain voting rights. Because women weren't allowed to vote. White women weren't allowed to vote.
This is 1959.
So black women went into a march, and the only result of that march is that white women were allowed to vote.
So the burning of passports, what was the significance of that?
They were burning passbooks, but those are the same passbooks that prevented them from entering into the white suburbs unless they are a domestic worker.
So what was 1959 about?
It was just about using black women for numbers. That was it. They were just being used by white women. And that's the thing, is that white women can be used to affect political change. They can be used as a tool, and so can black women. Black women are being used as a tool right now to affect political change, to ensure that black men never rise to any political power or any influence. So
black women, in essence, don't know their power.
They don't. It's clear because by favor, you understand, they don't keep their virginity. About Satloli, the only women who know their power are the Zulu women who still go to the reed dance. At least they've still got traditions, they've still got culture that preserve them, that preserve their sexual purity, because they know that, listen, my value is based on me being able to promise a man that if he has a child with me, it'll be his child. It's not going to be a
DNA test.
We don't want a DNA test because we need DNA tests now today because we can't be sure.
The moment that it was said that
what was happening before? What was happening before a DNA test?
I don't know.
How did people know that it was their kid? Through virginity.
Oh yeah, that.
You understand? That was the only way. You understand what I'm saying? So now we don't have that anymore.
Yeah.
And most women are not virgins anymore.
At the point where they were discussing compulsory DNA test, right at the point where you get a...
Why aren't women being charged with paternity fraud for that?
Yeah.
You understand? We need compulsory DNA tests and we need women to be charged with paternity fraud and there to be consequences for that. This is also part of the tools, other than just dating white women as black men or whatever. There's many tools that we need to do to stop black women from their self-destructive path, because this self-destructive path that they've been put on, right, is not something of their own doing. They didn't invent it. It was invented by white men because white men know that they can't compete with black men. They can't compete with dick size. They can't compete with genes. They've got recessive genes.
The genetics
they can't compete athletically because, if you look at all sports that black people apply themselves to, they always dominate, or they eventually end up dominating, even though white people invented them. Like football. The best players are black players. You know what I mean?
The English are always saying it's coming home. Just to remind you.
Yeah, and the team is getting blacker and blacker and blacker.
Yeah.
So when the English national team is fully black.
Before I forget this.
Yeah.
Gay men are not women.
Well, look, man, I've always supported Ntiki Mazwai, and I've said this before. She's finally saying what I've been saying. At first, she was pandering to the audience of rape victims and some of their LGBTQ allies, right? Or so-called allies. She was pandering to them. She was avoiding MacG and everything else, right? Because he was cancelled by the LGBTQ community, by these gay men. Gay men are the ones who decided that Old Mutual need to take down MacG. Gay men are the ones who decided that Heineken need to take down MacG. Gay men attacked them. Gay men are trying to replace women. They're trying to benefit from all the things that are being availed to women to, balance the scale, so to speak, because there's a false narrative out there that men dominate the world, and men don't dominate the world. Men do not dominate the world.
Why was that a controversial statement?
Because gay men run the media. No one else would back that up because they know that
discussions about gender and sex, and I was like, yo, bro, this is just you are just further confusing us. This lady just said gay men are men. That's why they're called gay men. They're not women.
They're not women.
Yeah.
And why is there outrage? The outrage is because gay men need to create some sort of outrage so they can be seen as women. They're trying their best to be seen as women so they can benefit from not being like other men who need to be masculine, who need to be powerful, who need to exercise their
strength.
I've
always engaged with gay men as men. Like I like gay dudes. Like not in a way of dating or whatever.
Yeah,
like,
same here.
Like,
same here. Gay men find me very attractive, dude. Gay men are always hitting on me.
You're always staring in your own movie, but okay.
Look, it is annoying, dog. It is annoying. But I thought about it the other day and I thought to myself, just imagine having never been hit on. That would make me feel sad, So all the women who complain about these guys who say, hey, Beyonce, hey, Rihanna, whatever, take it as a compliment. Take it as a compliment. Because if you weren't getting attention, trust me, there's going to come a point in time where you're as old as Whoopi Goldberg. Allow it to happen to you.
Yeah.
Because it's not like these men can get you. So that's why they're saying that, because they know they stand no chance. It's a compliment.
I'm trying to interrogate what is it that we don't know that are the benefits of being recognized as women? Because you're a man, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like, we understand that you're gay dudes.
You don't have the consequences that men have. We've already spoken about women having no consequences for their bad behavior. So if you become a gay man and you can be analogous to a woman, it means that you also won't have consequences for your bad behavior, like cisgendered men. And I don't know why we have to say cisgendered or whatever. It's like, there's male and female. There's two sexes. There's no such thing as gender. There's no such thing as gender identity. There's none of that thing. You can't decide because you want to feel like a woman. You feel like a woman. Now, your feelings are not facts.
So in a custody tussle between a gay man.
Two gay men.
Yeah. Like how, because usually...
Who becomes the woman?
Yeah, because usually it's skewed against us men.
Both of them.
So now they would have to prove empirically that they are the good parents, the more economically stable parents.
Women don't have to prove that.
Yeah.
They just have to prove that they were the woman.
They are women, yeah. Generally now it favors them.
You understand?
Overwhelmingly. So now as two gay men in a custody battle, you would only win that through your legal team, which you can only afford economically. So you have to prove that you have the money and the safe environment to provide for the child. It's weird, man. Like, I'm trying.
Why don't women have to prove that? Why can a woman be broke and then the man still needs to provide? Like, women benefit so much. Do feminists know that what they're fighting for is for these rights to be revoked? Because there will come a point in time where we've made so many concessions for women that we need to correct. We need to balance things out. We need to tilt the scales, to create some sort of parity. Because if we don't have any parity, society comes apart. Civilization comes apart. Because you can't have an imbalance between men and women because they both need each other. We're both codependent for our survival as a civilization, for humanity's, progress.
Yeah.
And we can't save humanity the way we're going about it. So, that whole entire thing that they're trying to cancel, you can't cancel Ntiki Mazwai. She's not trying to be on any of these platforms. She's not trying to be part of your pity party.
She did share an email of
what?
whoever seemingly is the employer.
It's the same person. Which employer?
So Nsiki did share an email. It's a pity.
What employer? Is she employed
I
right
don't
now?
know, but she shared an email. She said this is a warning. That was a tagline. Maybe she was being sarcastic, but the screenshot of an email was like, "We have seen the statement that you've made. We would like to have a meeting with you." Blah blah blah. And she was tagging. She captioned it as, "I guess I'm receiving my first warning." So maybe it's for her.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, either way, now a man would not have received an email to say, "Oh, come, let's speak to you about your statements and everything else." He'd just be fired. He'd just find out on the timeline that they've severed ties with him. You understand?
That's why it's important not to work.
The same way McG found out.
That's why it's important not to work. Even though not everyone can be a boss, but it's important not to have someone.
Not to have a boss.
Yeah.
You need to work.
You need to work. Obviously, this is work that you're doing, but it's important not to have someone to report to.
Yeah.
And not to have to go somewhere.
Imagine.
Yeah.
Now, needing someone to report to.
Every day you must go somewhere.
You have to report to some idiot because people are hired.
Yes, they're less talented than. That's my biggest gripe.
Are not hired on competence.
Yeah.
They're hired based on pliability. So if I feel like this guy will listen to me as a CEO and will manage the stuff the way I want to, and even if the stuff is being abused, he will protect it, I will hire him. And now the stuff will be abused, and I'll have workers who hate their job, and I'm making sure that my product is, not as effective as it should be because they don't have a passion for the job. But hey, as long as the bottom line is covered, it's fine.
Yeah.
And even if my business fails, it's fine. My family is rich institutionally.
Oh yeah.
That's just for white CEOs.
There'll be load shedding. But what I said about you and Sbu, speak on that. Like my point there was, sorry. Look, if people are ridiculing Sbu for the way he looks or ridiculing Nota for his statements, blah 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 blah.
Which people?
Like the audience.
From where?
I get
From the Wi-Fi at work.
Yeah. But I'm trying to get to the point. I'm trying to get to the point of the question. You can respond to it however. I look at someone who's winning as someone who doesn't really have to trade their time and labor in exchange for money that they get once a month.
Yeah.
So they sacrifice a lot. Like Mina, I do what is considered work, maybe 2 hours a day or 1 hour a day if I'm speaking to someone. And that's it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying I'm in a superior position than the average person, but I would rather be in the position that I'm in. I'm observing y'all guys. Sbu doesn't have to do anything really if he doesn't want to. You don't have to do anything that you don't want to.
Dude.
Why do people think that you guys are losers and they're in a better position than you guys?
When I worked at Sony, right, they wanted to fly me up to New York for my job interview. I said, no, I'm not a bitch.
Yeah.
You don't fly me. I'll fly there myself. I'll get there myself. Right? You're offering me a job opportunity. I can't go there on a begging ball. Now they flew me there.
Yeah.
Now
you're in an inferior position.
You understand? I'm saying all my flights, all my travel, I paid for myself until I was an actual corporate employee and I had the travel agent book me my flights and everything else. Anything that I did before my employment engagement and after that as well, because the power was in my hands. So for me, it's not that I'm against employment or anything of the sort. Like sometimes you need gainful employment, sometimes you want gainful employment. I wanted it for a certain period of time. I knew that I'm gonna give myself 3 years to be gainfully employed to learn from a directorial position anyway. So it's not like I started I started my employment career as a director. So which wasn't bad because I was already a managing director of my own company, since I was 14. So, yeah. In 10 years from being 4 and arguing with your dad to being the director of your own company, owned by your mother. So, now I see the criticism and like I said before, I enjoy it. I like that because they make me viral. It's like people who are jealous of me and my freedom and they want to find anything they can do to criticize me. When I want to decide to wear a suit and be dapper, I'm in Hermes.
What the fuck is that?
You can't even pronounce it.
But yeah, a loser cannot be the guy who's arguably a multi-millionaire.
But I'll tell you, they did get to me. They did get to me because So they were dissing Sbu, and I expected Nsiki Mazwai to defend him, right? But she defended him by throwing me under the bus. So now I couldn't even cut my hair for today's shoot. Like I had to let it grow because she said, even you men who cut their hair like women who wear weaves. And I'm like, dude, I'm cutting my hair because of my receding hairline. Like, I'm going bald. It's like I'm accepting my fate. I can see the destination. I can see, sometimes they say, yo, Nota, you don't allow people to finish this because I can see where the question is going. So the answer is just cut the hair now.
Anticipating. Yeah, but you can't. These people can't be losers, man. I will always. I will never. To me, I spent 6 years call center, quality assessor, call center agent, training people, shit like that. Just growing up the ladder. I know that I would rather work 5 hours a week and make maybe 50 to 100,000 than to work 9 hours per day to only earn 12,000 rands after 30 days. And I would rather do that. Like, for me, that's winning. I would never look at you and see you as a loser. Never, never, ever, ever. From what I understand, at an economic standpoint, your networks, the things that you've been able to achieve, fuck that, man. That's winning. So dude. I think it's conscientizing the public because I think.
Well, I mean, let's conscientize them on this, dog. Your social media platforms, your social media profiles. You're an employee wherever you are, and you're looking at employers. You're insulting employers. One day, it will be your CV on my desk, and I'll be like, "This guy said some nonsense about me on social media. There's no way I'm making sure he can keep his kids in school. He must starve."
Nah,
he'll find someone else to employ.
I wouldn't begrudge though like that. But yeah.
Why? Why would you hire someone who's insulted you on social media?
That means they are in an inferior position.
Yes, they're in an inferior position.
In the same way that you look
at any point in time.
Or they could stab you in the back. There exists the permanent danger that they could stab you in the back because they envy you. You know what I'm saying? But I wouldn't do that. Like, I have more empathy for people. But I wanted to conscientize people. Like, look, these guys can't be losers. You can't be a guy who doesn't have to be obligated to go. You remember when we were having lunch earlier on, and I was like, I was thinking, yo, we could not do this in the framework of an employment situation.
We couldn't.
We could not be vibing for 3 hours.
Dude.
Driving around.
Imagine.
You know what I'm saying?
Imagine.
And passing time.
Imagine.
If we were in an employment. It's like, what day is it? Thursday. 1 p.m. Thursday at the time. And we're just lazing around. And
having lunch.
You know what I'm saying?
White women serving us. Flirting with me.
And she did, actually. I can verify that. She did.
She brought my plate and she said, the biggest plate.
Yeah. And that was sexual innuendo. If anyone understands sexual... Because she served 3 people different plates, and she was like, this is the biggest plate. And she had been flirting with you. And I was so uncomfortable. And like at a romantic level, I was like, I have business partners who are
She's
white,
looking for a BE partner, dog.
Nah, she can take the employees. She has employees there.
Why would she want just an average run of the mill? Nah, dog. She wants also like a black man of some prominence as well. You know, she wants a Sia Kolisi, a Benny McCarthy, a Nota, a captain of industry.
Shout out to black women, man. We need to get you guys closer to our agenda, but we must have an agenda. In order for us to lead them, we must have a clear agenda.
We need to protect black women.
That's what I'm saying, though.
And the only way to do that is to stop enabling the toxic black women from getting away with their bad behavior.
We are doing that in the platforms that we have.
By criticizing.
We've been doing that, but we can take it back home now. Like, as we observe our behaviors, any man who has, like, any black man in general, it looks like, who gets to make 10 million, their aspiration is to sleep with as many black women as possible. Myself included, I will blame myself for that.
Or, well, any man that makes money.
Any black man.
Any man. Any man, even white men.
Yeah.
Trust me. They also have the same thing. Sexual desires. And Chris Excel was talking about this.
But we can only lead
sex
them we can only lead them if we have an agenda. And this is the point I want to make. Nati, we have to talk to ourselves as black men. We can only lead them somewhere if we have an agenda. It doesn't look to me, as you observe the richest black men in the country, what are their causes, what
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Okay. Which woman in the world do you respect the most?
That's a very interesting question. I haven't thought of that.
But any that you not the most, that you respect a lot.
It probably has to do with industry work that they do.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what it is. Respect.
I don't know. Like, as general, I have general respect for everyone.
Yeah, just name one randomly. Name one randomly.
I don't know if I have women that I revere, but I would have to think about it. But
okay,
there would
the
be
one that you hold in the highest regard. Yeah, name them.
I can't think of them like that. Like now.
Okay, do you revere maybe, let's say, Carol Manana? Carol Shabalala.
I respect what she does.
You respect her, ne?
I respect.
Okay, would you respect her more or less if you'd seen her naked?
Of course, I would then know her nakedness, and I would respect her less.
You understand what I'm saying? So
less.
now, as a man, if you sleep with many women, how many women are you now allowing to disrespect you because they've seen you naked?
Oh yeah, I get what you're saying.
And what is the value of those women?
Yeah.
Now,
when you lay with them outside the context of marriage, the value reduces. You know that it was a target, you got the target, you move on. Target, you got the target.
And you too as well.
Yeah.
Because now she can say, I've seen your dick or whatever. Your sex is not that great anyway. Oh, you got a small whatever. She can, you understand? Because she's seen you naked.
Yeah.
So but we cannot disempower ourselves by not controlling our sexual desires. We can only give sex to deserving women.
Yeah, I agree with that, but I've had to learn that the hard way. But what I'm also saying...
Most black women are not deserving.
What I'm also saying as well, in as much as we this is tough love that you're giving, right? We've had this conversation. It's been over 2 hours. What I'm also saying is that if we're gonna have to get them next to us, like Cultr, we've worked together for 6 months.
Yeah,
I gave her the vision of what we were gonna do with Nkululeko and Cultr.
Yeah,
it was at 0 subscribers.
Yeah,
we've never flirted, never done anything stupid.
How many followers does she have on Instagram?
We have now 30,000 subscribers.
How many followers does she have on Instagram?
I don't know. I'm not on Instagram.
But as soon as a girl gets me with more than 5,000 followers on Instagram, she agabambig.
Well, I'm happy that she was able to buy the vision.
She's not 5,000. How many followers do you have on Instagram, Khachel?
I think it's 3K. It used to be 6, but then
but
I don't post stuff.
3,000 subscribers.
It used to be 6K, right? But you didn't show any back shots. You didn't show yourself in a bikini. You didn't show yourself naked. And then people said, let's not follow, right? So a girl that gains following, that is naked, that gains
she will be less inclined to listen if she was that person. Of course, I get that. But I'm saying, because I showed the vision, and in exchange for her work,
she'd be less inclined to work because she'd be easy to buy.
Yes, but you're fucking the point. The point is that Nati, as black men, we must show to them that this is the path to take. Landel, follow me. You will see it. And
let's work.
And yes,
let's earn our value.
Exactly. And
let's not sell ourselves short.
And we did that. And we did that. And I what I'm saying is, Nati, this is tough love. We talk about women a lot, but Nati as men, and mass, particularly black men who become millionaires, we have to show Uguchi there is some direction.
Okay, cool.
There is some direction.
No.
We are taking somewhere.
But you're talking bullshit now. Let me tell you why.
Okay.
Let me tell you why.
Sorry.
Out of black men, how many are millionaires?
Yeah, no, I get
so
that.
So now hold on. You're going to a subsection of like the a small percentile, and now you're telling them your behavior now needs to determine how black men are seen as an entire group. There's no ways.
I get that it's fundamentally flawed. I get that it's fundamentally flawed.
Let's not do that.
But
let's stop
I am
policing.
making a statement that
I get you.
As black men,
this is exactly what we did with Men Are Trash. This is exactly what we did with Men Are Trash, and it was a mistake.
Yeah.
Right? It was a mistake, but we needed to do it to learn that it's a mistake and to learn from it, right?
Yeah.
And we've learned from it.
The underlying point, though, would you not agree that in order for us to be followed by, I would never follow you if you were misleading me. Yeah. Like even at our interpersonal friendship, I would never fuck you. Like you're not an industry leader.
Fuck with me.
You know what I'm saying? Fuck you and
fuck with me.
You don't know anyone.
No, you said you'd never fuck me.
I would never fuck.
I don't want that. You see, this is what I hate about gay men.
But anyway,
they like.
I would never fuck with you if
it's okay. I know you find me cute.
You're full of shit. There's 5 minutes before load shedding. If you did not prove to me that there's a direction that we can go, if I did not prove to you that there was value in this direction we can go, if I was irresponsible, if I was unreliable, reckless, reckless with information, we would not fuck with each other at a level that we're fucking with now. So every time you are persuading people, I may be using a bad example with black men who are millionaires, but I'm saying in mass, every time we're trying to convince people that we need to go somewhere, prove to them that they can trust you that we're going somewhere. Prove to them.
They can trust me because I'm married to a black woman, and even though she's putting me through hell, I'm not exacting revenge on her. I'm not discarding her. I'm not tossing her aside. So if anything, my actions should prove where my heart lies.
Yeah.
My loyalties lie with black women. I did not
I'm not making it a personal thing.
I just want to say it though, personally. I did not send cows to some white man. You understand?
Yeah.
I did not send cows to Fantonder. I sent cows to Zimbabwe, to Bulawayo. You understand?
Yeah.
So again, that's another risk because, with the Afrophobia that is within our community as well. You know, that's a higher risk. It's like now putting myself up for criticism from especially South African black women. A lot of the women that criticize me and everything else, they're like, yeah, this is what you get for being with a Zimbabwean woman. It's xenophobic, the text that I get.
I get what you're saying. I've always respected that.
So
I'm on your side.
look at that.
But I'm saying to you that if we are going to convince people to follow us, we need to be leading them somewhere.
We need to be responsible.
Yeah, we need.
Yeah,
to
with great power comes great responsibility.
Absolutely.
We don't know who the CEO of Pornhub is. We don't know who the CEO of OnlyFans is. We know who the CEO of Instagram is. We know who the CEO of Twitter is. We know who the CEO of Tinder is. We know all of these things. And guess who's making the most money on the internet? It's these porn sites.
Yeah.
So who's getting rich off the internet the most? It's these
the
porn.
men who
It's the
create
guys.
those-
It's the
those
white
platforms.
men who create this porn, and who's making this money for them? It's black women's bodies. It's poor white women's bodies. You know, so they're abusing girls, they're raping girls, just the porn industry as a whole. How can, as a woman, you support that industry after everything that it's done to girls and done to women? And us as men, it destroys us. Because the access to pornography means that we now see more women naked in an hour on porn than you'll ever have seen in your life
in your
prior.
lifetime, before in the internet or in the digital age.
You understand what I'm saying? So that's a crazy thing. Even sexual desire anymore. It's like you wake up in the morning, your wife doesn't want to give you any morning wood. So you go onto Pornhub, you jerk yourself off, and then by the time she wakes up and is in the mood,
Maybe
you're
she's
done.
in the mood, you know
You already got it out of your system,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden now you're starting to have relationship problems. All of a sudden now you're picturing your wife being fucked by another man because the only way you're pleasuring yourself is through watching porn and through being a spectator of sex happening. And now that fucks up your relationship. Now you want to introduce certain things that you would have never introduced. You now introduce a man to now come and have sex with your wife and be a cuckold, and all of a sudden now you start devaluing her. You don't value her
I've
as
never
much.
understood that shit. Like, how does it affect you? Does it affect
It's
your
because you
wife
stop being
perception?
aroused
Yeah,
by seeing your wife naked.
I get it.
You can
At
only
the
be
point,
aroused by
you-
watching people have
you-
sex.
You've fucked your
Your own arousal.
your arousal towards women,
Mm.
but then do not think ahead that you are also devaluing your stature towards your wife if you allow someone.
You
else
don't
to-
think about the arousal because everything's about your arousal. It's only afterwards, post nut clarity.
Yeah, and there's always clarity post nut. always. It's like the worst thing you can do, whether you're messing with a colleague, if you can look at it from a perspective of
Forget messing with a colleague. Wanking.
What's gonna be
Wanking.
The worst thing? What is wanking?
Jerking off.
Oh yeah.
Even when you jerk off and after you, damn, why would
What the fuck did I do? yeah.
Don't involve women in post nut clarity, dog.
Yeah.
Don't give them credit for that. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We've got post nut clarity on our own.
Yeah, but
It's
my
built in.
dilemma is that I want to tell those stories, and I want to say that to the audience, like, I will never be dictated to by people. I always tell them at the beginning of those porn star episodes that at this point, I said at the beginning, at this point, if we're going to talk to a porn star, if you feel like you don't want to watch, stop watching, and that's it.
Nkululeko on Cultr.